So good.
I think we're live.
Oh. All right, I gotta remember it's the opposite.
What's up?
How's it going?
Did you sell your soul to the devil too?
Well, if I'm the devil, could I have sold my soul to myself?
Well, self-worship
Ooh,
is
well,
Satanism, so I
I
guess it
mean,
works.
I'm big on self pleasure. Is
Oh
that the
well,
same
yeah,
thing? Is that
yeah.
is
As
that
long
the
as there's no
same?
ism on the end of it. Do you have isms?
At the end, yeah.
But that's an asm.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, yes. What do
Asms
you
are
think
different.
I am? Some kind of sicko?
Maybe.
Edge yourself, edge yourself, edge
Edge,
yourself,
edge.
edge.
I asked a buddy of mine if I could use this in my podcast opening, and he didn't respond, so I take that as a yes.
Sounds good to me.
This is a demo that or this is a verse that he did on an album that he put out. He gave me he trusted me years ago. He's like, I'll send this to you, just don't share it with anybody. And I was like, you got it, man. Unless we no longer work together.
And we're not on speaking terms.
I'm actually gonna have him. I'm have him on the show. His name is David Veneziano. He's quite
A
an interesting.
hitman for the mafia?
Yeah, yeah. He's a Sicilian. Go figure, right? With a name like that, I believe actually in this jam he mentioned it. So let's. I know he does. Come on, if I can get it to play, because playing music is hard when you're in Google Drive.
Is it?
Jesus, it doesn't know what it's doing. Doesn't know if it's been. Oh, should we download it or should we open it? I mean, it opened every other time. Why don't we make this a pain in the ass? Oh, now we need to download it. I need to download it because why? Now we can't play it from the cloud? Yeah, let me just add shit to my hard drive, assholes. Unfucking real. This is nerve wracking. Don't look at any of this stuff. Don't. You don't know what it is. Neither do I.
Okay.
All right, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if this is a WAV file at this point. Can we possibly make this any more complicated? You know, David, I don't want to put. Oh, here we go. That's not him. That just pops up for some reason. I don't know why. Here we go.
It's violence. It's violence. It's violence. It's
This is that Mars flow, rapping dope like I'm Pablo. Picasso with the cosmos, got that big bang for your Tahoe. About big change like the lotto. It's training day, I'm Alonzo. In that clean black Monte Carlo, make your wheels turn like a cargo. Riding a beat like a heart go. I paint a picture word art show. Van Gogh meets Rambo. Paint brushes and ammo. Suit and ties my camo, I blend in chameleon. From the gutter look a million, dressed in all white Siberian. I'm a charismatic Sicilian, lyricism Olympian. Soaked up game from Crooked Eye, the negative image of Eminem. Positively his synonym, ranked in the top 3 minimum. I'm a student of the God flow, I come from a rip in the time continuum.
It's violence. It's violence. It's violence. It's violence.
I like the beat too. I just like the. So that's it. That was one verse. I'm sure he did more. He completed the song. It's on an album, but I liked that. He's like, hey, I just had an idea. I just wanted. I hadn't heard the guy. I hadn't heard him rap. I knew he did. He trained with me. He was one of the people. I was like, how would you like to get off the phones and have an option at a career doing this stuff? And he's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. Ever had anybody believe in you in business for no apparent reason? He's like, no. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you're kind of rough around the edges, but stick with me, kid. You want to see how it's done? I'll have you in management within 6 months max. And he's like, really? I'm like, you just have to promise to do exactly what I say. Don't question it.
Well,
Each question-
why am I on my knees, Jeff? Just part of the process.
It's just part of it, buddy. It's part of it. He was like, okay, and he did. He trusted along the way. I'm like, XYZ, that's it. He's like, oh yeah, do not. Nope, just that. Well, do I tell? What did I say? Did I say go tell people what you're doing? Do the thing. He'd do the thing, and sure enough, the dominoes fell. And he's like, holy shit, how did I get this job? I'm like, you proved yourself. I just had to show you the way that you do that without making a bunch of mess of it, you know? So he showed me his hip hop stuff, and I was like, you know, this is no joke. Like, we're hanging out drinking, you know, Henny and Crown Royal, you know, and, you know, little stuff, and what, yeah, hang chill, you know? This is how I learned this, you know?
You couldn't be more stereotypical right now if you tried.
Right? Because hanging out with my boy, I had to fit in. So I was like, yo, what's up? What's up? Now it was great. This was early on in my separation divorce, and I was, you know, head over, you know, ass over tea kettle trying to sort myself out, and he became a project for me, which was great. You know, I can remember I didn't know how to do stuff like this, and then
idle hands do the devil work.
Yeah, and then I learned how to, you know, like chop a kilo, break it up, you know, get it around South Tucson, you know. Like,
is that laxative or baby powder, bitch?
I'm just teasing about that shit. That's a stereotype. It's a total stereotype.
And of course, it's baby powder. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
No,
Laxative.
you don't want baby powder. You can smell baby powder, guys. You don't use talc. God, if you're gonna bulk it up, you want like something like inositol, which is like a relatively
baby laxative, actually, too, dude. I'm telling. I mean, apparently, allegedly,
inositol basically it breaks down as a sugar, but it's not specifically sweet, so it's good. And then if you need to, if you overcut it and you need to get a little more sting back in there, then you can buy some lidocaine powder and you can chop that up and put it back in, and then they got the numbing again. Then if they're not getting high, just put fentanyl in it. Actually, you know, you can just manufacture cocaine without coca, and you can get people. I don't know. I read a book. This is parody. Hey, Dadbod Bikerbeard. All right, so that was my guy, David. Well, we'll have him on. He said he's willing to do it, and I said you don't have to spit bars or anything like that unless you feel like it. And he's like, okay. I said, and I promise I won't play the secret
video of how he got ahead in the company, or
no,
the one we just played.
Yeah.
The one we just played.
So just to fuck with them, I found this online mixer. It's called like Wub Trap, I think, or Wub Stop, or you can take an audio file and drop it in there, and you can pick like different EDM styles basically, and it will just cut it for you and then shoot it out and say, here you go. So I dropped his in there as an idea to entice him. He never loved this rap. He never thought it was very good. It wasn't his thing.
I thought his lyrics were really good. It didn't go with the music.
Like he said, this was literally like cut one, and he's like,
right,
like I don't know why you like it. I'm like, I like the flow of the lyrics.
Yeah, I thought the lyrics were really
I like the
good.
Carillion. I'm like, you throwing some Star Wars reference in there. I heard that. Yeah, you got a little Han Solo, a little Carillion. Like you got the. I said, I like it. It's an if you pay attention, you can get the narrative. Training day like Alonzo, and the sleek black Monte Carlo. I'm like, oh, I like it. He's like, he goes, Jeff, it's like kindergarten. I was just doing it. I'm like, I still like it. And I'm going to keep it forever, and it will be mine. And even if you recut it with fucking King Crooked and, you know, the hardcore gangster rappers, I'm still going to play this one because it has a Star Wars reference, and I thought that was fun.
That's
so
cool.
Just to fuck with him, I sent him a couple copies of some of this Wub. What is the issue here? Can we stop doing this, please? Okay.
Good evening, chat room. I don't see many people in there so far, but good evening, chat room.
Hey, kids. Hey, kids. What's going on? Let's see. So if somebody doesn't really want you to download now, do I have to buy something to download this song? Oh, here we go. I remixed this and I sent it to him. He hasn't commented yet.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Yeah. What do you think? No lyrics. He can't even say this is his. We'll take some X.
I was gonna say, where are your glow sticks, bro? Where's your glow sticks, bro?
I never use that.
Oh.
No.
Mama Fox in the house. Hey.
What up, Mama Fox? All right, so I'm curious to see if this is gonna make him want to come on the show, or
lose your number,
prevent him from coming on the show. I'm not sure what it's gonna be. And then one last one. Apps on your computer. Okay. Open it, please. Okay. Cloud Converge. Okay. Zip extractor. Is it zipped? I don't even think it's zipped. The fuck? Open. Just play the damn thing, people. Trust me, this one's the best one because the lyrics are in it. And then we'll move on and we'll do news, traffic, and weather.
On the tens.
On the tens. All right, now here's server execution has failed. That's great. I'm glad it did fail. Eat my ace. Dadbod Bikerbeard, welcome to the show. Hey, if you're live right now, great, because if you're dead right now, you wouldn't be listening.
Or maybe you would be.
Maybe you would be.
Maybe this is your eternal hell.
Is that you? Son, I'm disappointed. I know, Father. I know. This is the swing version of Mars Flow. Ready? I know you are. Vanezzi, if you're paying attention, I'm sorry. Here we go.
So you added the drums?
Yeah, and it's doubling on the lyrics.
I actually like this better than his version.
It almost makes his flow better by putting it into that swing rhythm, huh? What do you think?
Because it doesn't feel like he's forcing the lyrics in a certain amount of space.
Right. So it actually looping back on itself.
Yeah. It's the thing that drives me crazy when you listen to songs and you'll find, and it's obvious that the singer writes the lyrics and the band writes the music.
Right.
It's obvious because the singer is trying to fit in all the stuff he wants to say. And you just sit there and you go, no, it's too much. You're busy. You're too busy.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Say less. Yeah. Say less.
Are you leading or are you rushing or are you trailing?
So the deal is too, to me, I mean, I think there's a misnomer that the guitar is the second voice in a song. I think the voice is the second guitar. It's lead when it's on, and it's not lead. That's the way I think music.
The drummer should be running the show.
I mean, the bass and the drums should be it's your foundation for the whole song. So,
but it should be drums and then guitar, and then your bass should actually be back up to that because you don't want 2 at the 2/4. You want
it depends on your style of music though. Because if you've tuned down low, if your song is living, I love using Sabbath as an example, right? Because it's so, but I mean, he tunes his guitar down too, but that down to D, crunch. That underneath foundation is so important for that kind of music. But for other music, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, no, that was interesting. It was an interesting.
I know it's not your style.
It's not. I mean, I'm not big into rap and stuff, but I can appreciate musicians. So,
yeah. That's honestly how I look at it. I like rap. I like all sorts. I'm not just into thrash metal like you are.
I'm not into thrash metal, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not into hair bands and Poison and shit like you are.
Sacrilege.
Okay, well, if it's Poison, if it's Unskinny Bop, I'm down.
Oh, there you go. What are you sharing on the screen now?
No idea. Luckily, I closed all the porn out before I start the show. So.
That was really trippy. I was like, whoa.
So let's go down and change our visual, our background. Choose virtual background. We started with. We should change the damn name to Transplant the Devil because I'm always wearing the fucking hat. Now we got a picture of us behind us, which is really kind of weird.
There's an option to blur my background. What the hell is that?
It just blurs what's behind you, like of your posters.
Oh, I like that.
Do you?
Well, because it makes that picture doesn't look like a shark now. It looks like a photo of a person. Look at that. That's like weird. I don't know. I've never seen that before, and I've done so many.
Looks like I have a green screen behind me.
That's because you have a green screen behind you?
Oh, I do. Oh, weird. Okay.
Waka, waka, waka.
Waka, waka.
I think I should send you. Oh, wow. I thought I uploaded these, but apparently I didn't. Okay. We'll just go with old school. This is now considered old school.
I'm proud to be a progressive. At least I know I'm a freak. I don't know how that song goes. I'm trying to learn it.
Oh, I wanted to show the shirt today that I got on.
93.7 country. Let me see this shirt. It says Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo.
Yeah. I don't think there's nothing on the bottom. That was it.
Am I overmodulating this time? The last show I had my shit turned up so fucking loud I can't even listen to it on the playback. It irritates me.
Oh. Think of how the rest of it feel.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. That'd be gross.
It's like I started to bleed out of my ears. So I was like, no, I cut myself shaving. I'm sorry.
How we doing out there? Missy, am I coming to... Wait, I just lost my own... there we are. Hello? Hello? Mother, is that you? Mother? Mother? She's not Mother.
I crave violence, Mother.
I crave violence. So, generally, sound all right? I don't have to, sit on the mic the whole time, right? You guys let me know. I don't want to overmodulate him, or I don't want to overmodulate me. I don't want to overpower him. It's not hard to overpower John. It's not.
Like 2 midgets and a crowbar is really all it takes.
Yeah. Well, you have to use the crowbar to get him off the midgets because he's got a thing.
Well, to separate me from the first one, it's like get off.
Yeah, get off my sister.
I don't know why they're not using a hose, but they.
Yeah, he's like a golden retriever, and he's locked in for 18 hours.
18 hours. That's some of that tantric shit.
That was called soaking. You just don't move.
Oh. I think that's called sleeping.
Oh. Hey, did you fall asleep inside of me? I was soaking. It was tantric.
They call me Sting.
You heard of soaking, right?
No, I have no idea.
This is literally how I forced Rebecca to fall for me. Well, 2 things. I first time she heard me, I was talking about roofing my neighbor, and then I don't know, a month down the road or whatever, I zoomed in on both of us and I said, "Hey," it was just we had maybe 6 people, and then boop, 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 like I do, like that. It's just me. And I zoom in, and I'm like, "So have you heard about soaking?" She's like, "No." I'm like, okay. So let me tell you, it's a Mormon thing. It's when a man takes his phallus and he puts it in her, and then she says, "Chalice?" I said, "Oh, nice. Nice."
Phallus into chalice.
Yes, the phallus and the chalice. I was like, oh, right then I was like, oh, my heart. She's a quick one. She came up with an alternate word for vagina that I couldn't think of, and it rhymed on the spot. And I'm flirting with her in front of everybody. Chalice? I'm like, yeah, phallus in the chalice. So anyways, he inserts his phallus in the chalice, and then you don't move because they're Mormon. They're not allowed to have intercourse. So they found a loophole. You just put it in there, and if you don't move it, it's not sex.
Okay.
So anyways.
Yeah, I keep going off videos because I had to let the dog out of the room. I had to get up, turn on the fan. So I figured that would be wouldn't look good. So, but I do want to explain.
Well, now that you explained it, cool. Right on.
Yeah, I feel better now.
Have you heard of soaking?
It's a little warm. So that's soaking.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing. You want to find some pictures? I don't know what they look like.
On the dark web.
No.
Oh.
That's dangerous. I can't believe I did a show going into the dark web. Hey guys, look, there's cocaine. We can buy it. No. I don't have enough Bitcoin. I don't have enough.
I was going to say, just use your PayPal account.
No, you use your Cash App. You can buy Bitcoin on Cash App.
Oh, can you? Are you already yawning?
No.
Really, dude? Because that felt like a yawn.
I'm about to have my first wind. Here we go. I had acupuncture done today and physical therapy.
Okay.
I've never had acupuncture before.
How'd that go?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Explain the process and how it felt during, because that's what I'm interested in.
Okay. During, I didn't feel anything. Okay. There we go.
Did the person like light it on fire and shit like that too?
No, her name was Alice. Go ask Alice.
Does she work for the umbrella company?
She's 5'4".
The Umbrella Corporation. Sorry.
No, Alice Adams. Actually, I said you're Adams.
No relation.
You're lying to me. Don't fuck with me, woman.
So double A.
I'm your mother.
So you went to double A today? You went to AA today?
Hey.
Quitter.
My buddy Johnny De Leon, he's been on the show, Saturday show a couple times. He's been on with us. He's the actor Johnny. He bought me my first treatment. He said, dude, you're all knotted up, not only your back, but in your mind, in your heart, in something. You found some happiness in life. You need to let go of the things that you're still holding on to. You need to do something about it. He's like, the weight of the world, your back's never going to get better when you're carrying the weight of the world on top of that. So I've got your first session. I said,
so acupuncture is not only for the physical body, but it is also a spiritual thing.
Yeah. Yes. It's
okay.
So it's energy work. It's.
I'm talking from ignorance. I have no idea. I'm asking questions. Yeah. So I have no idea.
Acupuncture. Everybody knows it. Our the most common understanding is that there's needles in your back. Right. They put needles in you.
Right.
Needles do something. The way she explained it was really good. It's you can have physical issues. You can have physical things wrong with you that, you can have physical therapy. You can have surgeries. You can do all the things that you're trying to fix what you think is like the injury in your shoulder, so to speak.
Right.
And in other countries and in Asian countries specifically, she said basically anywhere but here, they understand that your energy is holistic. There's basically you have all the memories and all the experiences that you've had, whether they be traumatic physically, like you can have an accident, you can have something that impacts you, or emotionally, your response to it. These are all things that you carry with you, or you have the potential to carry with you through your life. And the energy being blocked, if physically everything has been done to try and get your body to heal, then getting the energy to flow back through that area then could be the change really. And then she talked about there's energy, and then there was basically what was it called?
So can I change the words around a little bit?
Yeah.
So it's impossible to physically heal yourself until you've accepted the ability to heal yourself. Do you think that it's putting your mind in the right place to accept the physical, like the muscle work, like the physical therapy and stuff? If your mind's not right, if you're not headed back there and all you're doing is thinking about the evil shit that put you in that stress situation, then you're basically putting a Band-Aid on it unless you clear your freaking mind of it.
That could be. It could be. It could also be like, let's say, let's say I was in a car accident and I was injured when I was a kid, and it was my back, and then that gave me my first limp, my first oh my God, I'm limited. I had to rely on other people. I had to take short-term disability when I was 19 years old because whatever, there could be a lot around that event. And you even though you think that you healed and you may have physically healed, you still can retain some of that reflex from having gone through that experience in the first place. So if it's not a matter of trauma that you're remembering in your head consciously, maybe the way that you walk is different now. You might think that if you get an injury in your leg, that once it heals that you are back to where you were, but there's no guarantee in life that your body will indemnify itself, right?
That's
no
true.
Guarantee that you're going to be back to where you were before. You're going to be a different version of who you were prior, even though you don't realize it.
Right, because you're also going to, even though let's say you've done everything to heal, you're still going to walk a different way.
Yep.
So it's going to put stress on muscles a different way. You're going to try to protect it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yep. And you don't even realize that now you favored that, say you favored that knee for so long that even though it doesn't hurt, your gait is different because your brain is still telling you to favor it. And now you think this is just the new you. You just have this cool walk. You're like, look at me. I'm fly. I'm dope. But the truth is, there's still something blocked there, and so to me that makes sense from an energy standpoint too.
That totally makes sense, dude.
Your body's protecting itself.
Well, I mean, anxiety and depression wouldn't be such a huge thing, right? If your mind didn't fucking control yourself,
right?
I mean, I mean, you can have a panic attack, which actually your body starts to physically change. Obviously, your mind is very powerful on that.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you can buy followers, primes, and viewers on. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Oh, are we getting a chat bot?
It looks like a She-O58.
Nice. Hey, just follow, okay? Go ahead and subscribe.
Come on, chatbot.
So my experience, how do you feel about being stuck with needles, by the way? Do you have a phobia?
No. When I was a kid, I did, but then I turned 17, got my parents' permission, and went to go give blood. And for a while there, I gave like 2.5, 3 gallons worth of blood.
Not gallons.
No, I did. I went that many times. I know it's pints, you jackass, but I went that many times. It didn't bother me. Needles don't bother me at all. Right. I'm just curious about a lot of things, but especially the whole whether they set them on fire, and I've seen all sorts of wacky shit. I don't know what's real and what's not. So, like I said, total ignorance when it comes to needles in the bod.
Yeah, so I was pretty ignorant. I mean, I knew kind of like what you do. Like maybe there's cupping, maybe they put those.
I was thinking that too. Is that something that you did, or
no? Those are apparently those are all options. So
okay.
When I came in, I had a 2-hour session for the first time. Fill out all the paperwork. If we happen to kill you with a needle, you're not going to sue us.
I mean, did you say 2 hours?
2 hours.
Holy
session one,
shit.
First session. It's 1 hour thereafter. And it was a lot of kind of getting to know me, and it was interesting because she's like, look, I'm not a therapist. She's trying to let me explain the process. Here's kind of the process and kind of what we're talking about. It could be energy. It could, changing and changing your energy paths around your body could absolutely make the difference, because you don't know what you're holding on to, and you don't know that you're holding on to. I said, cool, right, I'm down.
Yeah.
So then she started asking me questions, like question number 1, tell me the very first memory you have when you were a child that you can remember, if you can, and how old do you think you were?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I pooped my diaper. I was probably about less than a year and a half, probably about a year and change. And my mother was frustrated, or kind of like, I felt like she was kind of like, ew, gross. And I remember feeling like disappointment or shame. She's like, a year, huh? Year and change. That's a long, that's an early memory. Yeah, I said, I don't know. I discussed it with my parents, and I described everything in the room and what I can see from the room standing in my crib. And they're like, yeah, we were there until you were a year and a half years old, and we moved out. You can't possibly remember that. I'm like, oh, let me tell you about the Tupperware party that I remember. Let me tell you about smelling Chex Mix. We used to cook it in the oven with butter and put the nuts and everything. 1974. Anyway, so she was like, okay. And then we just kind of went through that. Like, she wanted to know siblings, birth order, age gap between you. Do you know approximately how much? I said, yeah, 4 years, 3 months between my younger sister and myself. 2 years, 10 months between me and the oldest. She's like, very specific. I said, I'm very specific. I'll say, I don't know, or I'll be very specific. She's like, interesting.
Looks like we're getting this whole relaxation thing off to a good start there, Jeff.
She kept watching me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting upright in the chair, and I've got my hands on my knees, and and we had to wear a mask, and I'm like, I lied. I'm like, look, I've been vaccinated. Come on. All right, I have COVID right now. Can we take the mask off? No, okay, fine. So I'm sitting there, just trying to not have my back spasm out, because it is the whole time I'm sitting there. I feel like I can feel the vibrating, my body's humming, and I'm like this. I rock back and forth because my core is unstable.
So can I ask a question? Do you feel that because you were being interrogated, do you think that added to the of not knowing what's going on, first time experience? Do you think that added to the stress level?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have white coat syndrome.
Oh, me too. That's why I stopped giving blood.
Even if my because you have the vasovagal response, pass out.
No, I meant because my blood pressure doesn't go down. When they check me, they're like, "Oh, your blood pressure's too high. We got to wait."
Yeah.
And then I just get because then I get pissed off that I'm waiting. So right. No.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I go in. They're like, "We're gonna have to hospitalize you." I'm like, "No, it'll be fine. It's gonna go down." And then my one of my best friends for years was also my doctor, and he's like, I always forget when I come in and I look at your blood pressure. I'm like, dude, you're dying. What's going on? And he goes, and yeah, it's me. He goes, I understand. Even though I'm your friend, even though I could come in with street clothes, talking shit, as soon as you know it's a doctor thing, then yeah, your blood pressure goes out of control. Yep. Like, I know. Hey, buddy, how you been? He's like, what the fuck, dude? Okay, I'm nervous.
Do you really sound like that?
No. This is called a puppet. When you make a voice or a character to represent something, it's a puppet. That's what we call it on radio. Hey, I'm nervous. Oh, hi. So if you're in radio, whenever you'd hear that voice, they know that I was doing the nervous voice.
Oh. So go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead, dirtbag. Okay. So, Dadbod, Bikerbeard.
Shelf help.
So she takes me through just a battery of questions, and it's around physical trauma, trying to find physical trauma or emotional trauma. That's really what it is. What was your relationship like with your this, that, who's dead, who's alive, accidents, whatever. And then any thoughts, what's jumping into your head? Some of the interesting ones were for people like you and I who are correlation monkeys. She said, if you could live anywhere in the world, regardless
of money and
not a cost, it's not even a people thing, based on its climate, where would you live? And I was like, oh, interesting. And then I think another one was season. It was like a location. Let me think. Hold on. Where's the place that you live based on the type of climate it has? And I picked San Francisco, assuming it was not dirty and it was back in the day.
Poopless.
because I like
San
fog.
Francisco.
I like fog, and I like it. I love it. And it gets warm there. It gets all the things. And then, like, what would be a climate around the world, like a climate that you would not want to live in? I was like, I wouldn't want to live any place where the humidity stayed at 100 and the heat stayed above 100. So any place that's like super tropical where you're just constantly just sweating and feel like you can't breathe, I'm out. Can't do it. I could do cold wet, can't do hot wet. Well, you know. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting. And then I start trying to figure out what she's trying to figure out by asking me those questions.
That's the worst thing that can possibly go on.
I was like, oh, okay, I get it, Adams. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, you're fucking with my chi right now. I don't know. It makes sense because I'm a kind of a dark, yeah, okay. Yeah. She's like, good. Okay. I'm like, what are you writing there? I want to know, what the fuck does this mean? I'm thinking I have mommy issues. Is Freud? Hello.
Oh God.
It's interesting though. And what were a couple other ones? What's your favorite Tic Tac flavor? That was weird. What the fuck is that about? And have you ever had a 3-fingered Mexican oil change up the pooper? I was like, no, I'll take one.
Does that come with the needles? Just checking, or is this a la carte?
Are you gonna pull my hair?
Because my buddy paid for this, so I'm just checking. Is this a la carte or is this included?
Hey, that table, it's got a place for your face with the hole, and then there's one in the center. What's that for? Will I be on my stomach or my back? I'm just curious. Yeah, your hands are cold. That feels nice.
Oh, wait. Are they wet? Because I told you cold and wet. I told you cold and wet.
Yes. San Francisco, Venezuela. Boom. $95. Jesus Christ. All right. So
after the psych eval,
we go through this thing. It's like a battery of everything. She had some positive things. I guess what I would see as positive things. When she was talking about is it your power, your spirit? Like your spirit is like it's the energy that reflects your determination as an individual. Like, is your spirit energy? Are you somebody who charges ahead? Are you somebody who shrinks back? And she's talking about like personality types that kind of go with this. And she said in Chinese medicine, they look at those 3 parts. So you have the physical, then you have the, like spiritual energy, or maybe it's the spirit. Maybe that's what she was saying. I'm trying to figure the verbiage because it was 3 parts.
Mental, spiritual, physical.
Let me see. Acupuncture for chronic low back pain. What? Meta-analysis, meridians, needles, needle technique, related practices, sham acupuncture, bias, cost effective. Maybe Wikipedia isn't the way to do this. I wanted to.
Acupuncture at home. If you got some sewing needles, this is what you do. Stay away from your eyes. Stay away from your eyes. Oh, Lord. Okay, so
I like it when you're reading Wikipedia and a chiropractor is shit talking acupuncture. That makes me laugh.
Well, it's funny.
Like, this is quackery.
Like a chiropractor. We
charge our people a lot more money to get their fake degrees.
Well, it's just funny because a regular doctor thinks a chiropractor is witchery.
Yeah. Well, mine was with chiropractor. He was like, it's dangerous. You have a tumor on your lower spine, and you're allowing this person to twist your lumbar and pop it. You want to bleed to death, asshole? Fucking stop. And I was like, I forgot about that part. I forgot that I had this hemangioma tumor. It's all a bunch of blood vessels that are just growing, and then if it ruptures, I'll bleed internally and die. I mean, you forgot to. Okay, yeah. I had to go back to the chiropractor and say, hey, we can't pop my lumbar. You can't put my one leg over the other and then jump on it to make that satisfying crunch noise. Cause
and it's such bullshit too, because they pull the table up too. They have that handle that they pull the table. So even if there is no crunch noise, when they push down, the table drops. And it's like, dude, there's a lot of
there's a lot of stuff.
There's a show going on.
I've had just like this acupuncture, which I'll finish the tale. But I've had chiropractic work that helped. You know, like you get a crick in your neck, you can't get that fucking thing out no matter what happens. And then, you know, you get you're like,
no, you're not wrong. Like, but I think you have to be there mentally too, though, right? Like that you're like, this is going to help me. This is, or maybe you're at the end of your road.
I'm a skeptic all the way through.
Oh, dude, that's miserable existence. How does anything work for you?
It does. I mean, I don't believe that it will work, but I don't believe that it won't.
Oh, so you're not a skeptic.
Yeah, and I'm skeptical. Like, I'm not sure.
No, a skeptic doesn't believe. You're in the middle.
Or a skeptic questions.
No, a skeptic is somebody who doesn't believe. A believer is somebody who believes.
A person inclined to question or doubt accepted opinion. So question.
Correct. Doubt was the word I'm taking from.
Question. So, fine, I'll give you half credit. I mean skeptic because I'm skeptical.
I signed my name on the test too, though, so I should get at least 2 points.
But you can doubt. You can also doubt whether or not something is true or not, but be persuaded. It doesn't mean that you're coming in with a very specific, like, no. You're like, nah, I doubt it. Like, I don't think so. Doubt means to not think or believe, but it doesn't mean that you know. You want to look up doubt? We'll look up the word doubt. Okay.
No, can we get involved in your needles?
All right. So, anyways, 90 minutes of that.
The needle. Wait a minute. 90 minutes of questions?
Yeah. Well, I didn't fill out my medical forms before I got there, so that was like 15 minutes of me because that was my fault. I didn't come prepared.
So, is there any kind of physical contact during the first 90 minutes?
No, just sitting across the room, asking questions.
Mini skirt, cleavage, and tank top or anything like that?
Yoga pants.
Yoga pants. Did she drop anything else? No.
I'm guessing she's like 65, 70.
That doesn't matter. She's in yoga pants. That breaks all the rules.
Very, very thin, like Kate Moss thin. Very sweet.
During the Coke problem. But Kate Moss during the Coke problem.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Not after.
Yeah, during Johnny Depp, not.
Correct. Because after, Kate Moss looked good. Yeah. So when she ate a sandwich and stopped the cocaine, she was very attractive.
Who wants to do that? Like, don't stop to make a sandwich. Do another bump. Go. So, she talked me through the psychotherapy part with no answers, and then it's like, okay, well, she's like, how do you, you understand part of it? We could use needles. We can do cupping. There's touch, massage, but she's like, I think she said I don't do needles necessarily on the first time, depending on what's going on with the person. Sometimes it's not necessary, but unless you have any objections, you're ready. I was like, what does that mean? I'm ready. She's like, I think, yeah.
I want to stab you.
She was like, you can tell she was trying to be like, you're all fucked up. You need to get over some shit. We need to move some of this out. You know, she was kind of like, yeah. She said, have you ever done talk therapy before? I'm like, yeah. She said, did it bother them? I said, the therapist? Yeah. Yeah, when we were done, they were like, I don't know why you're here. I'm like, me neither. The court said I had to come.
Your Honor.
Like, I said I was kind of like Goodwill Hunting, you know. I was kind of like, I have all the answers. I said, but here's the thing. I never had the Robin Williams moment where they got me. I wanted to cry. I want give me something. And they're like, nah, you're right. Like, this is all the reasons why you're fucked up. Here's the things you should do. Here's the things you've done. Here's the things that you're struggling with. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, I'll just sign the paper. I'm like, you're giving up on me? Like, I feel like I'm talking to a colleague.
Oh, Lord. So go to the needles.
So she's like, take off your pants. Leave your shirt on. But just pull your shirt
We
down.
call this milking the prostate.
Yeah. She's like, get up on the bed, take off your shirts. I was wearing 2 shirts because I layer, because I'm cool. Take off your shirts. Mask is fine. Put your face down in the hole. Yeah, baby. Pull my hair.
Put my face in your hole.
Yeah. She's like, you can take your mask off so you don't suffocate, but the hole is not open. We have to put a pillowcase down there because, COVID. I said, yeah, the pillowcase is going to catch my COVID. That's genius. She's like, so I'm sorry if you feel like you're suffocating. I'm like, that's fine. Just call me bitch. Slap me. So she steps out. I take my shirt off, and I had to take off some jewelry. It's like I need to be able to feel your pulse. I need to feel like where, I said okay. And I said, do I have to take this stuff off? And she's like, Jesus Christ, are you a man or what? And I'm like, yeah. How about this? How about this?
I like to accessorize. Leave me alone.
Jeez, are you sure you have a girlfriend? All right, Nancy. Steven Tyler barely pulled it off. Barely. Oh, no, she was nice. Anyways, I lay down, face down in the hole. And this is what I know. Once you stop crying, they lose the angry energy, like you gotta. That's what people. I'm like, look, if you yell fire, nobody comes.
Oh, that was good.
Try the fetal position, but they keep stretching you out. I'm just saying. Try not to cry so hard because that makes them happy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you struggle, it makes them harder. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Don't kick, don't struggle. Just be like, oh, I love you. Oh, baby, I love you. Oh, I love you. And then they'll stop. They're like, what are you, gay? Prison.
Oh,
anyways. Oh, that was a different weekend. So.
That was San Diego.
So you're going to feel a little prick. I'm like, yay.
I did something to say it. It was so. I was like, "Is that you, Dad?" I was like, "Oh my God!" Sorry. Go ahead. I could say that because my dad's dead too.
Oh no, I'll go with it.
Oh God, you feel a little prick. Oh God, that's too funny.
So,
where did the needles go?
I don't know precisely because I didn't feel most of them. She said some people will feel them. It's for a moment. It's a little pinch, and then that's about it. They're very thin. They're smaller than a hypodermic needle. So you may not feel it at all. And after she's like, Jesus Christ, you look like a walrus with that husk, that layer of blubber on your back. You'll be fine. You won't feel anything. That's just my impression. I was having some body dysmorphia, so I can feel her basically up and down my flanks. I can feel a little bit of touch, and then every now and then you could feel, a sting just for a second, briefly. I'd say she probably put 30.
Holy shit!
Probably 30 in.
So any in your legs or arms that you're aware of?
She's just from my lower back up to my shoulders, basically.
Okay.
And she'd stop and she'd check my pulse, and depending on the side, and then she'd trace and then put it. And this was the interesting part. I didn't feel maybe 5 go in, a little sting. I felt very relaxed, kind of face down in that thing. I was like, I need one of these tables. It actually made my back feel better to be in that position.
Right. They're expensive, dude. Those tables are not cheap. Even used, they're expensive.
They're like a few grand.
Yeah.
So this was the interesting part, and I try to label feelings and sensations, and like I told her, I don't believe in ghosts, but I've seen them. I'm that guy, the skeptic, right? I've seen them. I don't believe in them, but I had one wake me up at 3:00 every morning for 2 years, and by touching my foot. Yeah, I don't believe in them though. But I had one touch my toe every day or every night at 3 a.m. for 2 years until I left that house. She's like, I got you. About five needles in, I'm guessing, I felt I felt something like energy is all I can say.
Okay.
Trace, like follow a path. So I didn't know precisely where they were going because I don't feel them going in. I have a kind of clue.
Well, you probably could feel her hands more than anything else, right?
No?
Oh, okay.
She going over to get more needles.
Oh, okay.
And I felt something, it felt like something tracing between, like, whew.
Oh, like they were conduits in between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I felt it, and I was like, "Is that in my head? Am I actually feeling where am I feeling it? Like I'm relating it to my back, but it's not specifically physically
Right.
that. But it was really I was like, "Nah, I'm making this shit up. I'm wanting something to feel like something." So I'm like, "No, that's okay. That's dumb."
Yeah, but if you wanted something to feel like something, wouldn't it be like pleasurable that you'd want something to be pleasurable? Not that it just felt different.
If
Like to me, that sounds very honest.
I feel
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's real to me. That's really, really honest.
Yeah.
That it's just different.
It wasn't a tickle, but it was. How about this? Can you feel your back right now? Aside from where you might have some muscle tension, can you feel the skin on your back? Really?
No, I can't.
If you focus, you can feel your.
I can just feel where the pain is. That's the only thing.
Right, and you can feel your shirt touching some spots in your skin.
Yes, correct. In the tension spots is where I absolutely feel that. Absolutely.
Right.
Otherwise, that's why I keep having to adjust because my lower back's fucking killing me. So yeah.
Otherwise, we don't have any awareness of what your back feels like. It's not part of your sensory. It's not something that you walk around and go, unless it itches, then it feels good to get it scratched, and the itch is annoying. Outside of that, I never, unless I was working a muscle, if I was exercising, I wouldn't relate a thing that would feel like it was under my skin, but somehow in my spine and somehow,
right. Unless pain is the only thing I could feel.
Yeah, pain is the shit part. So I wouldn't know what to attribute that to because I don't use my back for those things. So that was what was to me was different, is that I became aware of something shifting and following some pathways around that wasn't there before, and then concentrating, and that was very interesting too. And I'm like, maybe I'm like, oh wait.
So do you think the questions?
And then I got like a little like.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like I wasn't even excited. It was just like my central nervous system reacted. And
was it relief?
It was like pleasurable, but it wasn't pleasure. It was like kind of relief.
I was going to say, you mean you felt like a normal person for a fucking second?
I stopped feeling the pain, period. I didn't have any sense of myself after a couple of minutes. I thought, well, maybe I'm just falling asleep. But then she continued to work around, and I would kind of feel like, oh, what the fuck is that? That's really interesting. Something's happening.
God, I wish you could keep going back so you could get out of your fucking head and let it just happen.
I made an appointment going back in 10 days.
Yeah, because I think the more and more you go back, it'll be less of you in your head going, no, I'm fucking wanting something to happen.
After a few minutes of that, when I was tracking it, I was curious. I'm like, that's very, to me, it was like having something touch your toe in the dark. And I'm like, okay, well, I invite you to do it again if this really just happened. Oh, okay, that's uncomfortable.
Right.
That's enough. But I kind of drifted off. It was really, really interesting because she was put some sort of music, meditation music, I think was on. I don't recall it being on when I laid down. I'm sure it was the whole time. I'm sure I was just focused on everything else like I tend to do. And I just feel like I'm floating. I'm just in the dark. I don't have any more awareness of her or me, but I know I'm not asleep, but I'm not awake. I know how to meditate. I trained myself when I was very young how to meditate. I've done a lot of that, breath work and focus, and I've done a lot, so I'm aware of it. I was in like a meditative trance, and I didn't get there on my own.
Right.
That was very interesting because if I fall asleep, I snore. I'll snore. So you're gonna hear something. You're gonna hear noise. You're gonna hear my breathing change and become more labored and whatever. You're gonna hear it. So I became hyper aware. Am I asleep? Because I've been put into hypnosis before and I fell asleep during it. Like, fuck, you must be exhausted all the time. We change your fucking brainwaves a little bit and you pass out. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm always exhausted. I've been trying to save the world for 5 years. And this is why I bang my head on my desk, because I'll literally be here and just clunk and pass out. And I'm like, that's not good. It was so, when I had the like I was not on any specific plane of existence. I wasn't aware of my physical body, but my brain was saying, don't be asleep. That's not respectful. And then the rest of me said, shut up. And then I just enjoyed it. And
so did she say that people sometimes fall asleep and stuff like that or no? No.
Nope. But then she spoke and she asked me, because she had finished with the needles and she had asked me and I'd been silent for a while. And she's like, are you awake? No, she said, are you asleep? I was like, nope. I said, okay, good. So I'm going to leave the room. Don't get up. You're going to freak yourself out. You don't want to see. I wanted to. I'm like, what if I have to pee?
You should have been like, can you just take a picture?
Go running down the lobby.
Just take a picture. I just want. It's like the human pincushion.
I'm here for my allergy test. Why did you leave them in? People are like, get out, run. But so she said, I'm going to leave. I'm going to just let you relax and just, yeah, I think she goes, I think you're relaxed. Are you all right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay.
And how long did she leave it in?
Until she came. Yeah, that's right. Soaking. So she bailed probably for like 10 minutes or so. I didn't have a clock, but I'm guessing about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Came back in, and she's like, all right, I'm going to pull out now, and you're going to feel your asshole slap shut.
I'll pull out slow so it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
This is why we use tapered dildos, because we don't want it to snap shut at the end. Oh.
So you already made another appointment?
She took the needles out. She gave me, she's like, get up at your leisure, but I have another appointment, so hurry up. And
I have a cigarette over here for you to smoke. And
it was wild. So I'm laying there, and I'm like, I can't feel my body anymore. I don't know how I'm going to get up, but then I just kind of like, it was really interesting to come out of that kind of trance feeling. And I got up and I was like, oh, everything sounded different. The vibrations had changed. The noise that's running around, especially if you're in pain, that your body is vibrating at a different level when it's sending out pain signals all the time.
Right.
And they're severe. I mean, severe. I try and walk 100 feet without going like, oh, God, fuck. And people watch me and they're like, Jesus Christ, dude, are you all right? I'm like, yep. And I'm like, I look like I'm 100 years old. And it was really weird because everything I just noticed. I'm like, my energy changed. Like someone shut off the screaming. And I was like, she didn't even do much on my lower back. Like I thought, like, are you gonna go and target the muscles? No, energy work, just pure that. And I swung around and I stood up and it didn't hurt. And I said, okay, well, that's because I've been laying, face down.
Right.
I'm relaxed. I get it. It didn't hurt yet. So I'm like, don't get excited. And then I started putting my stuff together and I was like, nothing's yelled at me yet. This is weird. Usually it's like, trying to stretch and like, okay, I'm upright. Hold on. I didn't take my shoes off. I didn't take my shoes off to get on the bed. She came in and she said, I'm going to take your shoes off if you'd like. I'm like, nah, I'm okay. So, okay, well, it's up to you. You might be more comfortable. I'm like, it takes me a while to get them on.
I was just going to say, is that because to put them on and to take them off? Is that why?
Yeah. Getting them on it's a challenge. So, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I kept my shoes on during a fucking 2-hour, treatment because they're hard to get on. I forget every day when I get up to, I'm like, it's time to go to work. And I give myself like, I got 45 minutes to get, just finish up the last couple of things. And I'm like always fucking 5 minutes late to work. And I forget that putting on my shoes takes 10 fucking minutes sometimes because I can't screaming. But yeah, I walked out and I made another appointment, and it was interesting.
That's cool.
Back feels different. My body feels different. There's still the creaks and the pain there, and we'll see how it goes. But she said, stay hydrated, drink a lot of fluids, try and get some rest. She goes, you might feel some shifting. You might feel like you're getting a cold, or you might get congested for no apparent reason. She said, if you notice things that feel a little different, but you're going to feel that it's doesn't stay for very long, whatever's doing, or you might start getting runny. Your eyes will start watering. Some people might get diarrhea. It depends. She said, don't panic, but just be aware of it and then stay hydrated, because depending on the person and what we're able to shift around, basically we can change that flow of energy that hasn't even gone where it's supposed to go for so long that you'll have a physical response. So just, stay hydrated. Don't drink alcohol tonight. I was like, why? She said the roofie is, brutal. No,
so that's fascinating. That really is. That's interesting. Now you got me wanting to try it.
Yeah, it's literally like I'm at 3,000 block. It's 2,000 block right next to my house. I said, I live literally like a block away. And she's like, oh, I saw your address. From where? Well, you left your wallet. No, I didn't. It's in my pants. She's like, oh, really? Okay.
Is it?
Alice.
Yeah, no, that sounds interesting, man. To me, it sounds a lot like when I take a gummy. It's really the screaming stops.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating to me. I wonder how I would react to it. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to.
You're not a skeptic, apparently, like I am. So
no, I'm totally open to everything. No, I really am.
I'm open to everything. I do not.
You were in a double negative that word.
I do not reject things outright.
Right.
I'm willing to try it. I don't know. Even after it works, I'm like, I'm going to go again.
Just to prove it didn't work.
Not to prove it didn't work. I'll go again because there was a benefit, but I can't explain why.
Right.
That's where my skeptic is. I'm like, I wish I could explain why. Maybe I don't need to.
Oh, that's a huge step, right?
Hey.
That's a huge step. No, I'm open to whatever. Because I feel like I have none of the answers. I don't think I have any of the answers to anything.
Right.
And that sounds fascinating to me. Absolutely. That would be something totally different.
I'll get you the information.
Yeah, please do. Because I'm super interested in that. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I will try almost anything. I'm open. I'm open to whatever. And like I was saying with me and the gummies or the chocolate is that the screaming stops. And it's not that, oh my God, I'm so high. It's, oh my God, when I move from a chair, it doesn't feel like somebody just punched me in my spine really, really hard. Right. Or, oh my God, my knees, they still creak, but when I stand up, I'm not like I have to make sure I catch myself. And for me, when I take it, it highlights, I really feel like it highlights all the injury areas that I have. Like it makes it feel like there's biofreeze on it. It's the weirdest thing.
You can isolate sensations.
Yeah. I mean, it goes right to wherever I'm normally in pain. So my knees, my shoulders, my lower back, there's like a cool, I don't know,
like a York peppermint patty. You're on a ski slope.
Absolutely. That's what it feels like to me. And it's like, God, damn, this is nice. I'm not in pain right this moment. That is a wonderful feeling. So I don't know, to feel normal is nice. So yeah, it's not a lot of action. Mama Fox is the only one talking. She's ready to sign up for getting little pricks in her back too.
Do it. Get some pricks. It lasted longer than 3 minutes. So since we're talking about alternative medicine, which is not political, and I'm wearing leather.
We haven't talked about candle wax yet.
What do you know about kratom?
I've never even heard of it.
Kratom, no. Okay, well that's it.
Does that have to do with the brain?
No.
Oh, then I have
kratom or kratom. It's a leaf from a tree that grows in Indonesia.
Is it a psychedelic?
No, it's it's an analgesic. It's a pain reliever. It has dopamine. Fucking, I can't remember the name. It acts on your dopamine receptors like Vicodin, like heroin, like that.
Okay.
It's illegal in Indonesia because it gets in the way of the heroin trade. So they will murder you. Although in Indonesia, people are allowed to have a family tree. It's Mitragenous picosia is the Latin name for the tree. It just looks like a ficus tree basically, and they've used it for thousands of years to mitigate pain, just like coca, like cocaine, right? Cocaine hydrochloride is different. Now you take it and you put it in lye and acid, and you leach out all the good stuff and turn it into something that Americans buy a ton of. The plant in and of itself has been used for those reasons. So when I got off of Oxycontin, oxycodone, and tramadol, and what's the one that kills you really fast?
Fentanyl,
yeah, 150 microgram transdermal patch. I used kratom to get off of it. I didn't want to go on. They were like, you can do
the synthetic stuff,
methadone, you could do Suboxone, you could do Subutex. I'm like, I don't want to trade one opiate for another opiate. I say, well, you've been on it for 3 years, and your
system can shut down. Right?
They wouldn't say
you could die.
Addicted, right? They wouldn't say addicted. They say you habituated. You have habituated to it. I'm like, I'm addicted. I know, because I tried to titrate off of the narcs, and I wanted to like run into traffic, like scream, like rip my flesh off, like fucking panic. It was awful. It was horrible. I tried like 4 times to come off of the narcotics the way that they would do if they put you in the hospital. I even took Clonidine, which is a blood pressure med that lowers your heart rate, which is often used when you're detoxing from opiates to keep your heart rate down so you don't have that feeling of constant panic. I tried every method possible, but I refused. I didn't want to go to treatment because I'm like, it's a physical addiction. I understand how mental addiction works, and I understand how physical addiction works. I'm like, if I get the physical part, I'll be fine. But I'm not taking methadone for the rest of my life. I'm not trading one narc for another. So I had done some research on kratom, and the limited clinical research showed that it had a similar effect to other opiates, except what it does is it binds to a different opioid receptor in your brain. So narcotics, when you take a narcotic, it's not the pill that has anything in it that makes you feel good. It's what it tells your brain to do that then has your body create chemicals in order to make you feel good, if that makes any sense. Your drugs are a way to affect your own body chemistry, and you're getting high off yourself. Unless it's THC, and then there's actually compounds in THC and CBD. There's so many different compounds actually in marijuana, in cannabis, that have specific curative effects on you. It's not just about the high part is making your brain's doing that to you. That's pumping out, different chemicals to make you hallucinate or make you hungry or whatever. But these other drugs, it's just a way to block something in your brain to make you think that you're having a good time, because you are. It feels nice. So your heroin and oxy and all those things, they bind to your ISO opioid receptor in your brain. When you have pain, your body recognizes the pain response. It sends a signal to your brain, and the brain says, "Do we have enough dopamine? Nope. Send some dopamine out." And the dopamine is the pain reliever. It's just boop, sends it out, and now you can stop screaming about the pain. But you got the alarm that tells you to pay attention to it, and now you can tend to it. And the amount of pain will obviously be determined based on the level of injury until you go into shock. But your body will do a pretty good job of, think of it when you cut. You ever cut your finger doing something?
Sure.
Preparing food. You ever cut it like really bad, and as soon as you do it, you're like, oh fuck.
Yep.
And you feel that initial slice, and there's this sting that's like it screamed at you for a second, like it screamed really loud, and you're like, oh, and then it's silent, and then you're like, oh no, and like you have it closed off, and you're like, oh, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it, because I know as soon as I let go, and as soon as it starts bleeding, it's gonna scream at me again. Well, that's your brain goes, this is bad. Okay, all everything stop. And it's weird because you can mitigate that by convincing your brain to not let it hurt until you release, and then it opens up, and then it screams again. And you're like, Jesus Christ! And your body's amazing what it does to keep this biological machine going. It's crazy how it works. So if you're hijacking that for so long, those receptors are always full. When you're taking those pills, their dopamine receptors are always. They think the chemical comes up and it binds to that receptor. So the receptor is not, the receptor is what's looking around in your brain to determine your hormone levels. And it's like, we're good. They've been blocked for years. Your body thinks it has enough pain relieving hormone in it that it doesn't produce it anymore. That's where the problem comes in. You get addicted to something, it's because your brain stops creating that thing that you need. So as soon as you stop taking that pill, it releases that receptor, and that receptor goes, oh fuck, what happened? The pool's empty. Like you have an Olympic-sized pool full of dopamine. Over time, it depletes to nothing. Your body's just been tricking it. You've been tricking your body this whole time. And you're like, yeah, I'm still high. It's like, yeah, but it's not because there's any dopamine left. We stopped making it because we got told to go to sleep. We don't need to make it because we're full. You come off those meds and your body suddenly realizes it doesn't have the hormones needed to function, and you have a pain response that makes you want to run into oncoming traffic. So can you get something over the counter to fix that? You can. Head shops have it. You can buy it online. When I found it here in Tucson, I found a guy who was selling it, and it was interesting because I felt like I was going to buy drugs. I'd go find this guy. He had a MMA gym. He was a recovered junkie, and he took this, like a couple of teaspoons, mixed it up in some water, chug it, good to go. And I was like, all right, well, I went and found this guy. I'm like, hey, you got the stuff? What you got? And I had a plan on how I was going to transition from that into this leaf and get off of narcotics permanently. It cost me, this was 10 years ago. So the accessibility of this plant was not like super, super well known. I mean, the fact that John hasn't heard of it, and I know John would like a Vicodin if you handed him one.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. It was basically you had to know somebody who knew somebody, or you had to find a head shop that even knew to carry it. And if they carried it, it was never enough. You're like, well, how much is it? And it's a couple, 3 grams of it. You're like, I don't know what's the effective dose. And like, we do it. You can do it by weight. You could do it by volume. 2 teaspoons. You do a little research, and it's like you take 2 teaspoons, it'll make you feel kind of alert and kind of feel good. Or you take a couple 2 tablespoons, and it'll have more of a sedative effect to it. And I was like, that's weird. Like a little is like, Then I thought, okay, narcotics work the same way. You can take a Vicodin, and it'll give you a little boost of energy, and you're like, oh, this is nice. Let's go to the mall and do shit. Like I have a energy for like 5 or 6 hours. You take 4 of them, and then you're like, I'll just chill. I just chill on the couch, watch TV. Like there's that difference.
Right.
So I think I spent like $2,000 on Kratom to get off of the narcs. Probably maybe $1,500.
It sounds like it's worth it though.
Yeah. So I started off and I dosed. I was doing a big dose. I was doing like 2 tablespoons. 3 times a day, mix it up with water, chug it. It tastes like green tea. It's powdered. It's pulverized and powdered. And so this was basically the way it works. You have your dopamine receptor that you've been fucking with this whole time you're addicted, and then you have another one. They're called MUU, the mu receptor. This one's not used by heroin, but it is also a dopamine receptor. So the withdrawal comes from this one being empty and going, oh no, fuck, we're empty, kill yourself, is kind of what it's saying. This one here has just been dormant the whole time because it doesn't have any work to do, but it doesn't know that it had any. The interesting part is that Kratom, the dopamine that's in there, it comes in, it attaches to this one that's been asleep the whole time. So when this one empties, your brain doesn't freak out. It goes, no, we're good. It goes, are we okay? Oh no. It goes, yeah, we're okay. That's the best visual I can give you. This one has been fucked the whole time, and it starts screaming. This one goes, no, we're good. And the brain says, okay, don't panic. I was like, fuck. So I did it. I did it for a month. So 3 years worth of narcotics, taking narcotics for 3 years. It took me a month to titrate off and then titrate off of the Kratom. That was the goal. It wasn't to replace one with the other. It was a temporary.
Right.
This is the bridge that I'm going to use to get there. I did that in 2013, I think. 2012, 2013, 2012, something like 2011. I don't know. 2012 probably. And then sure enough, since I said we'll start here because I'm trying to replace a large amount of narcotics, I'm going to start high, and then we'll hit that plane until this is gone. We're good for a while, keep going for a little while, and then start to step that down. And then I was like, holy shit. I was clinically depressed for the next 3 years, but that's because your brain, it's not from the Kratom, it's because your brain has been on all these other, mind fucking things. And it takes a while. So you got to get your serotonin up. You got to get your thyroid working. There's all these things that break. I had to go testosterone replacement. I had to do a bunch of things to recover from the narcotics. But if it wasn't for that Kratom, I'd probably be on methadone. I'd probably be on something. Like so many people wind up getting stuck for the rest of their lives on that shit. And it sucks, man. It sucks. Becky Bear, what are you doing up, sweetheart? Pretty amazing.
Hello, lady.
So, John, I'm going to grab something. I'm going to show you real quick. Say hi to the... we got 2 ladies, one for each.
Good evening, Becky. And hello again, Mama Fox. That was interesting. I thought talking about his acupuncture experience, since I don't know anything about it, and I find the subject kind of fascinating. So I definitely wanted to hear about that. I mean, he obviously has a worse back issue than I do. because I'm able to be a little bit more active than he is, but he's right. The way he explains it, the screaming, that is absolutely correct. I don't think I could explain it any better than screaming. And that's really, that to me, that you hit that was a home run.
So back when I paid like, I don't know, $1,000 or $2,000 for what was probably maybe 500 grams, maybe less than this. I paid a lot. I made friends with a dude who was selling it to me, and I was at his house, and he was like, dude, yeah, my last time I went to get it from him, the Kratom, he's like, yeah, I'll give you a deal, dude. I'll give you a deal. I'll give you like an ounce, which is what, 28 grams. I'm like, what? I was buying it by that like 5 grams, 10 grams at a time.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'll give you an ounce, dude. I'll wholesale you, dude. I was like, where do you even get this shit? He's like, I can't tell you. I go to his house this time, and he's giving me like the best deal so far. I'm like $100 for like an ounce of this stuff, and I'm like, fucking great.
Right.
This is the last time I'm gonna need it, though. This would have been nice if I thought we were tight before, but you were just fleecing me. The U.S. Post. I go in his house, and he's got boxes. He's got 8 boxes, cardboard boxes. I was like, what is this? He goes, oh, the Kratom. Yeah, I get it delivered. I just bought it last night. And I was like, how are you getting it delivered? He's like, post office. He goes, the guy's only made 1 trip. He's got 3 more. The guy comes up in a postal truck and a postal Jeep or whatever. He unloads like 8 more boxes. And I was like, how fucking heavy are these boxes? And he goes, oh, they're like 20 kilos. You're having... Hold on a second. I pay... How much did you pay for this? He's like, $1,200. I said, for how much? He goes, there's 8, 12, I don't know, like 200 kilos? I'm all 400 pounds for $1,200, and I'm paying you by the gram? By the gram, and this is legal. He goes, yeah, it's legal. I'm like,
motherfucker.
Oh my God, I hope you accidentally take heroin again someday and just go back down that route. I'm like,
God.
I have paid you enough in a month for this entire, and he goes like that. I bought 400 pounds worth of Kratom. You can't, it's impossible to find it here. He goes, I know. Yeah, I'm like the one-stop shop. TucsonKratom.com. He went back to jail and he became a junkie again. And I guess my dream came true. He got on the heroin again. His woman kicked him out. She kept the business. He went to prison. Don't fuck with Jeff. I'm just saying. Jeff does the fucking. And the business is still going. Every now and then I have his ex-wife's phone number. I want to be like, hey, you want some of that green stuff? Yo, what's up? I know it's been 10 years. I don't know. I still check. And I'm like, I bankrolled a fucking business for it because after that, it became more well-known, more established. You can go to an acupuncture shop. They'll have it because it's a natural pain reliever. Right. It is truly a natural pain reliever. They will tell you, oh, you got to be careful with it because it has those dopamine effects. Listen, buddy, this is 500 grams. This is 500 grams. Okay, these are half a kilo. I got these like a year ago. They're in my freezer. They're Ziploc shot. I don't even take it. I probably should because it would probably alleviate some of that back pain. But every when I was taking it, I'd be like, I can't sleep. I'd shake it up and, chug it and like, kind of get it down and then, laying there and be like, I don't even think this stuff works. I'm always such a skeptic, right? And then I'm all of a sudden like, my kids would be like, Dad, are you sleepy? I'm like, why? Why do you ask? Drooling. I'm like, this stuff, it's like taking an edible. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour before it kicks in, it gives you that narcotic warm feel like it does because it's attaching to your opioid receptors.
Right.
No specific hangover or anything like that. They come in varieties. You can order this online. This is where I got it. Oh, actually, I had a buddy who gets it. I'm like, I'll go in half with you. He's like, just order it. It's fucking legal. I'm like, I know. I always feel like if it makes you feel good, it must be illegal. Right. I like to keep the charade. I said, do you know that I'm personally responsible for the Tucson?
The trade.
So they have all these varieties on the back. They have green, white, and red varieties, and yellow. They have extracts, capsules, etc. Anything called Mangda, Maengda, Mangda. Mangda is always considered to be the highest grade or the most powerful. So if you see Mangda, and it means pimp. In Bali or wherever in Indonesia, Mangda is pimp. So it's Mangda is pimp grade, and then they have Brunei, Batak, Jangkong, Sunda. They have it from different regions, Vietnam. Then they have the elephant strain, which supposedly is more powerful than the Mangda. But I looked it up, so I bought some, of course. Give me the strongest. This is a bag of elephant.
Right.
Kratom. I can't really tell the difference. The color, they're all green, even if it says yellow, red, white. It's actually about how the leaf is fermented before it's turned into powder is the color of it. It's based on the fermentation that they do. Who fucking knew? But it is effective. If you, I'm not a doctor, so please don't take my word for that. I will tell you that my doctor used me as a positive story. He's like, I can't believe you did it. He goes, if anybody in the world would be hooked on narcotics because of me, because I prescribed him and his back was jacked. He goes, Jeffrey Sinatra, sorry. Dadbod Bikerbeard is the only guy crazy enough and curious enough to put himself through his own trials at the recommendation of his doctors to not do that. Really, don't do that. We can't support you medically. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not taking your recommendation. I'm going to kick this shit on my own. And he's like, I became well known around in the medical community here, and I would actually go and talk to them at pain clinics, and I would be like, no one can make a recommendation for you to do this, but let me tell you my experience. And I did it for like a year after that. I'd pop in. I said, look, don't buy it from the guy who owns the MMA gym. He's a dick. His wife is hot, though. So hopefully he goes to prison someday.
Oh, too funny. Funny.
So, John, one of those bags is yours, my friend.
Oh,
it'll change your life. It will.
Okay.
When you're feeling like when you're slow to go in the morning, and you can literally take a couple of teaspoons. I got buddies at work who have same thing. They have chronic back issues, and they'll put it in like a little Tupperware container. They keep it in their lunchbox or whatever they're doing. Or if you work at home, it doesn't matter, right? Couple teaspoons in the morning, and you can the screaming goes away, and they're good. And they'll do a couple in the afternoon. Might do a little heavier dose at night just to relax, maybe a tablespoon or two, whatever. Mix it with water. I'd get a shaker, like a protein shaker.
Right.
If you want to put something sweet in it so it doesn't taste so horrible, it's like matcha. It's like it's green leaf. It tastes like your green tea.
Right.
If you don't mix it up well, it'll get stuck in your throat, and then it's like the cinnamon challenge.
Right. Can you mix it with ice cream?
Sure. Yeah. You can mix it with whatever the fuck you want. You can mix it with alcohol, and that will have that same effect that it would if you take tequila and
and a gummy.
Rebecca, good night, sweetie. Sleep well. Sweet dreams.
Night.
I miss you.
Aww.
Oh.
But that's
she's my favorite person.
That's very lovely. I did like the picture you sent. That was very cute.
She didn't know because her face was down on the pillow. So,
well, I mean, I just wanted to see the back of her
head. How did you know that was her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Watch
Because of the video.
I'm gonna get a text saying, "Bing!" You better be fucking lying.
Just because of the video you sent, dude. That's the only reason.
Oh.
I recognize the back of her head.
You recognize like her laugh and her
Well, muffled laugh.
wheel sound kind of similar.
Muffled laugh. Yeah.
I would never.
But that is interesting. Alternative. I when you made the comment before John would take a Vicodin. Oh, yeah, and took a lot of them.
I knew when you had them at work. I was like, hey,
a lot.
How you doing? You got a spare today? You can have one of my Copenhagen's, but you're not having one of those Vicodins. I'm like, yeah. I only got one.
Yeah.
Not giving it to you. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Just checking. Yeah. Bye. I gotta go.
Yeah, because had a friend that got a lot of them for, and he didn't charge me for them, so he gave them to me, and I took them all the time. But it was to stop. It wasn't to get high like that. No. It's never been. That's not my thing. I enjoy being on the planet. I don't need to be in another realm. I just need to not be in pain.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is the biggest thing. Like we've said many times, I just want the screaming to stop. I don't mind the voices in the head. I really don't. I'm used to it now. But it's the when it just and you can't think, you can't concentrate because you're like, God damn, how do I sit? How do I make sure that how do I crack that or what? Oh, that's why I love massage therapy. I really do. I believe in it big time. It's just that I have not found the perfect person. So I have somebody that I go to who now takes HSA, which is wonderful.
Nice.
Right. And I'll book for like an hour and a half. I'll be there like for 4, I'm not lying to you, 4 hours. And it's an amazing massage, but she doesn't shut the fuck up. She doesn't stop talking. And it's the kind of talking that you have to respond. And that's, I'm like, I just want you to hurt me, to help me. And I really don't want to talk. I talk enough all the time. I'm very talkative, but yeah, my wife will be like, oh, when's your appointment? I'm like 3. So she goes, oh, you'll be done by maybe 7. And she's like, shut up. I'm like, yeah. And I'll call her as soon as I'm done. I'm like, I just got off the table. That's
crazy.
Yeah. And
I've never had a massage outside of Asian dude at the mall one time.
Okay.
For 15 minutes, and it hurt because I am so tense.
Right.
I've never had a professional massage. Never.
Oh, I want
it. I think I need to now.
Yeah, I think it's great. It definitely makes me feel better. It's very short term, though.
Right.
Very short term, because you're not changing any of the things you do all the time. And unless you're getting a massage, every 3 days or something, I think it's very similar to like a chiropractor adjustment, right? Well, if you're not changing the way you walk or the way you sit or the way you stand, then it's a temporary fix. Correct. So, it is what it is.
Or whatever structural defect you might have too.
Correct. And if you're not doing, like, if I don't do the thing where you lay your one leg across your knee and move your hip to make sure my hips align, and I don't do it, I forget to do it all the time. And, mornings are not good. Mornings are pretty miserable. I get on a conference call every morning at 8:45. And I just look at myself in the video and go, fuck, man, it looks like you drank a case of beer last night and snorted a lot of cocaine. That's the look you have in the morning. And everyone's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I need about an hour. And then all of a sudden the back will be like, okay, you're human again, but it takes it. And especially when the barometer drops and it's raining outside, it's fuck. I'm like, goddamn, I'm old.
What is that about? It feels like a wives' tale, but a lot of people react that way.
I think it has to do with I honestly think it's because your body absorbs moisture, right? So when it's humid out and stuff, your body feels a different way. I think when it's cold and there's wetness, the kind of things you like, apparently, you sick fuck. yeah, it goes right to the joints, and I think it makes them swell, and I think that's where it is. But maybe it is an old wives' tale. Maybe it's mental. But you know what though? Because I don't know what it's doing outside when I wake up in the morning. I got no freaking clue. So it's not like I check the weather. You know, we live here. I don't really check the weather very often.
Right.
During the summer.
The weather's been weird for the last year or two. It's like rain when it doesn't normally, and it's global warming. Unfortunately, if you believe in green energy and you believe in reversing global warming, you're going to have to, this is stolen from Ben Shapiro, you're going to have to bomb India and China.
And Russia.
Yeah.
The weather can make the fluid in the joints thicken, which makes them feel stiffer. That's what Mama Fox says.
Oh, well, she's not an expert, so we should look it up on a chiropractic site.
Oh.
Just kidding, Mama.
Let's go to a voodoo site. Come on.
It's going to thicken your synovial fluid, huh? Let's see.
Look it up. She said, "Look it up, bitch."
If it's from a MD or a study that's repeatable, we'll see. You can blame the barometric pressure change, which is the weight of air pressing against the surface of the Earth. Changes in humidity and temperature can also be a reason your body feels achy. It seems that low pressure, low temperature, and high humidity are the weather changes that cause body ache problems. This was, well, let's click on it and see the bona fides for this person. You know what bona fides are?
If they're bona fide?
Yeah, that's where that comes from, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By admin. We don't know who admin is, so let's check. It's a blog, so it's probably not a doctor. Oh, chiropractic massage vitality. Okay. So let's try another one. Barometric pressure and pain, medical.
But I definitely feel it on my sinuses too when the barometer drops.
To me, barometric pressure makes sense. I mean, if the density of the air and the pressure around you has changed to the fact that you can measure it, then it's going to be measurable on you also.
Right, I would think so.
You're going to feel something, right? So
like
epidemiologic evidence of barometric pressure changes. Blame it on the weather.
Isn't it blame it on the rain?
Blame it on the weather. Barometer falling.
It's raining men. What?
It's raining. Oh, no, we don't want to have to pay for that song.
Oh, sorry. It's raining men outside, and that's why I said it.
Harvard Health. Harvard. Let's see if this is harvard.edu or Harvard.
Harvard is racist, though. They don't let Asian people in.
Well, yeah. So?
Oh, sorry.
Aren't they a private institution?
Oh, I'm sure they get some sort of federal funding.
I bet they don't.
I guarantee.
I bet they don't.
I absolutely guarantee.
No, they charge.
Or federal contracts.
Federal contracts don't matter. That doesn't make you a fucking employee of the federal government.
Oh, yeah, you do, because you have to get vaccinated if you have a federal contract. Yes, it does.
Listen. That's because they think they can tell you to do that.
I just wanted to say vaccinated because we hadn't said it, and I
fucking. That's because
hold on, Jeff.
The emperor is naked, guys. There are no new clothes. The emperor's naked. Quit telling me it looks great. Fuck. Well, we're gonna pull our contracts if you don't get it. Oh, fuck yourself. Pull your contracts. Eat my ass. I mean, both, please.
Yeah.
Or one, the second one.
Pull it and eat my ass. Duh.
Harvard Medical School. Okay.
Okay.
Now, why don't you look up and see if Harvard is a private institution now?
No. I think it's, but I think they definitely get federal. They definitely get federal.
Why would they definitely get federal anything?
Because almost all schools do. There really isn't any schools that don't.
Is it because of the grants that pay for the people to go there? That's it's indirect at that point.
You're gonna make me look this up, and it's annoying me now.
All right, can the weather really worsen arthritis pain? By an MD. Let's find out, Missy. All right. Well, they have an umbrella on the cover, so
dude, I put does Harvard RE right?
Yeah, it's because they're listening to us.
Federal funding.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
Yeah, I know. Joe Rogan had somebody on, Dr. Epstein, talking about how to get away from Google Stealing all your information. All right, here we go. What we think we know. Past studies examining the effect of rain, humidity, and other weather-related factors on symptoms of arthritis have been inconclusive, and in some cases contradictory. Some suggest that the key variable is rising barometric pressure. Other studies found just the opposite. The falling pressure could provoke joint pain or stiffness. There have even been attempts
before you go any further, do you think that maybe is where you're originally from? Do you think can it affect because your body gets used to a certain altitude, certain normal, what the normal weather is in your area?
Your body normalizes. I mean, when I came to Tucson, I remember for the first 2 years I was in fucking hell. And then after that, I'm wearing a wool suit when it's 110 out.
Right.
And then I went back to the coast in San Diego, and I'm like sweating balls. I'm like, I am dying. How fucking hot is it here at the beach in La Jolla? And they're like, it's 72. And I'm like, well, I can't breathe. I can't breathe in 72 with humidity. 110 is fine as long as it's dry. So
Harvard gets $22 million in federal work study funding.
Okay, work study. What is this? Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Harvard received $22.2 million from 2016 until present from the U.S. Department of Education Federal Work Study Program. So they do receive something from the federal government.
They're funding a work study.
Yes, they're giving Harvard $22 million to do that.
They're paying Harvard to do the work so they can get the results, and then they can then enact change on the American people. That's different. You're being paid for work. That doesn't make you an employee. That makes you a subcontractor.
I think you're saying tomato and tomato.
Any institution can pay you to do work. It doesn't mean that you work for them. You're providing.
No, but the
service.
institution is the one getting paid.
They're your customer.
But the government's paying the institution.
Right. The government's a customer of Harvard.
Right.
That's different. Harvard is not beholden to the federal government, except for the results that they're paying.
You're right, because we're never beholden to our customers. You're so correct on that. That made you sound dumb. I just want to let you know. How do you say that?
No.
Of course, you're beholden to your customer.
Your customer doesn't dictate how you fucking operate your business.
Oh, that's not accurate. Absolutely not accurate. Because
not a single voice. That's just what I'm saying. Not a single customer comes in and says, "I want you now to be, So
you're saying
forget Kentucky Fried Chicken. You're not going to be Kentucky Fried assholes because we buy a lot of them. Go fuck yourself. There's plenty of other chicken buyers out there.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the U.S. government has no influence.
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
That's where I'm going with it. If they're the
influence?
Customer. They're the customer, and they would have influence because it's a $22 million.
So this doesn't make Harvard a federally funded college. It means they have a customer.
I did say subsidized.
They're not subsidized either. Subsidies would say they were going to give you money to not do something because you have a deficit somewhere and they want to prop you up so you don't go out of business. Government will subsidize farmers to not grow crops in order to keep the cost of crops at a certain level, right?
Now, they did not take the stimulus, though. Harvard did not take the stimulus
because they didn't want to be beholden. Because everyone took the stimulus.
Does Yale,
based on trying to close down 40% of small businesses. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. It's fun to argue with you. So the MDs at Harvard, the federally subsidized apparently college, private college in Boston. They say tomato, who the fuck cares? But they say no, it's not scientifically proven, and that's really what the issue is. So if something to be scientifically true,
have they done a ton of studies on it, or no? Is that not something that they?
Let me see the volume, because people have been asking these questions for years without finding good answers. What we think we know. There have been attempts to artificially vary environmental conditions to mimic weather changes, such as placing arthritis sufferers in barometric chambers and various pressure up and down. Despite this, we still don't know whether it is one particular feature of the weather or a combination of features that matters. There are many potential factors: humidity, temperature, precipitation, and barometric pressure among them. Even if we could precisely identify what about weather affects arthritis, pain, and stiffness, we're still not sure why, biologically speaking, weather should have any impact on joint symptoms. So they're not saying it doesn't, they just can't prove that it does specifically.
And why? Right, okay.
The newest studies, in recent years, several new studies have weighed in on the question whether or not weather has an impact on arthritis symptoms. All three of them found that yes, indeed, weather matters. Yes, indeed. Look, we had to get further down. In the first study, Dutch researchers enrolled 222 people with osteoarthritis of the hip, the most common wear and tear type. And they had them eat lab rats for 3 weeks. And all the lab rats died, so we know that it does. Okay. They found that over a 2-year period, pain and stiffness were slightly worse with rising barometric pressure and humidity, although the overall average impact was small. The second study included more than 800 adults living in one of 6 European countries and who had osteoarthritis of the hip, knee, or hands. Although changes in weather did not seem to affect symptoms, higher humidity was linked with increasing pain and stiffness, especially in colder weather.
Huh. My hands very rarely hurt.
That's interesting. I mean,
everything else does.
If I'm in a mood and I'm, beating my wiener like it stole my lunch money, sometimes my hand will hurt afterwards. Yeah.
That's a cramp. That's different.
Oh, yeah. I have arthritis.
Well, just to get your fingers to hold in that position for such a long time.
Right, I know.
Yeah, I gave you that was like an insult, but a compliment at the same time.
Yeah.
Long time. Just
long
really
time.
Small. Yeah. It's all right. I'm drinking my daily fiber right now.
Try to find the head of a needle. Let's see. Drinking ALC alcohol.
Oh, that destroys everything. Alcohol's bad. I had a horrible day at work today, and I was really going to drink a lot. And I decided not to because I wanted to be coherent for the show.
Oh, I thought we were going to do the half and half.
I know, but I'm not good at that. I either go one way or the other. I'm not really good. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just take a gummy. But I'm like, well, you're going to have a cup of coffee. That's going to be fucking stupid. So that's going to I just did the coffee instead. It's okay. It's okay.
I want to find a study that actually might entertain you. Might entertain everybody. Let's see. It's about the effects of alcohol and coffee on your body and on longevity. They did a study, and
I'm sure it's bad. How many? So, do you drink regular coffee?
I don't drink coffee anymore, but I mean,
what do you drink to? What is your? Do you drink caffeine at all?
If I'm really tired, I might have a energy drink or like a Red Bull or something. Or I take a lion's mane.
It's a mushroom, right?
Mushrooms.
Okay.
It's a nootropic.
Okay, I don't know. Does that help you think?
Brain, yeah. It helps your brain clarity and energy and focus.
Or just whatever Joe Rogan fucking sells, huh?
No, this had nothing to do with him.
I think I remember him at one point taking that.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. But this is a while ago. I haven't heard him mention it in a long time.
Well, he takes so many things, so...
Right. Well, but that guy fucking looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not unhappy with it.
But he works out so fucking much too. I mean, dude, the amount of calories that you burn rolling around somebody in jiu-jitsu, oh my god. That's why those guys wear gis, is because they'd be a sweaty fucking mess and nobody would be able to hold on to anybody. I mean, those guys just burn so much energy doing that.
I have to find the results. The results that I'm gonna share with you will surprise you.
Well, I'm not worried about my caffeine intake. I only have normally 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and that's it. But today I did have a second cup because of the show. So,
If I drink coffee, I drink like a pot of coffee.
oh yeah.
What is a 6-ounce cup of coffee going to do for you? If I don't have at least 200 milligrams of caffeine, then it's not fucking worth doing.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many milligrams are. I
6-ounce cup is like 40 to 50 milligrams of caffeine.
I don't know. Whatever is in a K cup is what I do,
Yeah,
and
that's like maybe 80. What is it? Coca-Cola is like 100.
oh well, I do like
100.
You know what's weird though? Coke never gave me that feeling.
Because you're supposed to snort it, not drink it.
Oh, that's correct.
Ooh, damn it.
I've been doing it wrong. That's what the straw is for? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went for my physical for the doctor, she's like, "How many cups of coffee a day?" And I'm like, "1." And she goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, 1." Okay, we don't even have to talk about that. I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, that's nothing." I'm like, "All right, yeah, yeah." But that's, I think maybe when I was younger, I would do 2 giant cups on the train in, probably once when I got to work, and then I'd take those stacker 2s, man, with the ephedra in it. Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you could feel your heart on your chest plate. You could. I was like, this isn't good. That's before energy drinks, kids. They didn't have energy drinks back in 94, 96. They didn't have those. Instead, they had these little pills that you took called Stacker 2s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So ephedrine, mahuang is the like kratom. It's the plant that it was coming from. Ephedra hydrochloride is used in pseudoephedrine, right?
and also meth.
Which is what they use for meth. It's a stimulant.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from a plant. It dilates your capillaries, which is why when you're congested, if you get the pseudoephedrine behind the counter, which you have to sign for, because you might be smurfing. It's when you go buy little amounts and then everyone pulls it together so you can make your meth. Yeah, since it dilates your capillaries or dilates. That's like that. Opens. It closes. No, yeah, it opens. Yeah, it opens it up so blood flows and it empties out all that shit stuck inside your head. But it's speed.
Yep.
Pure speed. It's just speed.
And Stacker 2s were at the time legal speed. And it was, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, this isn't good. I'll have a Coke. I'm not doing this anymore. That was not a good feeling.
Yeah.
And that's when I was in my early 20s. So if I took that shit now, my heart would explode and I'd die. For sure.
You remember like athletes were having heart attacks and high school kids.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't like huge, but you have like 5 across the world, and that seems like a problem because then no one's reporting them dying of not taking stackers,
Yeah. No, I mean, and everybody did it. Everybody took them. They were very popular. Like I would say it was promoted like those 5-hour energy drinks. That's how it was promoted back then. I remember that. When you need a little boost, a cup of coffee's not going to do it for you. Let your heart touch your chest plate. That's what it's there for, to prevent it from coming out of your body. It's Stacker 2s. Yeah, no, it was, yeah.
Metabolife. Do you remember Metabolife?
Yes, I do. I don't think I ever took it, but I remember it.
Metabolife, it went worldwide. There was this diet pill that was made with mahuang, ephedra, and
it was a appetite suppressant.
Yes.
Right?
Over the counter, OTC. You pick it up, like $30 for 60 pills, and everybody was getting skinny and had plenty of energy. And in 99, 2000, early 2000s, everyone was on it. People were like, God, how are you losing all this weight? It was the same time that fen was out. So it was phentermine and There was one phentermine, another fen something, but one of the phens was causing heart valve defects. So they took that off the shelf. It was an amazing thing because it was an appetite suppressant, gave you energy. It has the same effect as speed.
Yep.
It is a speed.
Yep.
So they had to break that combo apart, and that was what I was most effective. I tried it once. A friend of mine was on it. Doctor prescribed it. Like, you're like, hi, I'm a weight loss doctor. Come on in. Yeah, $40. Yeah, here you go. Everyone was buying the speed, and I tried it. And I remember I had done meth for a year when I was 20 years old, 20 to 21. I did meth for a year. Adderall, whatever, same thing, right? Meth. So I was aware of the effects of.
Every time I hear Adderall, I just go.
It wasn't Adderall, but it was meth. But anyways, I was habituated to that. I had got off of that on my own. I got on it on my own. Got off it on my own. Adderall, meth, and so I was very aware. So when I tried this, I was like, I'd been off that, college stuff for a year, and I tried it, and I was like, we went to the beach, and I talked more incessantly than I do on the show, to the point where everyone in the car was like, shut up, like, for excessive for me. And I remember sitting at the beach, and I'm just like, yeah, oh, hey, guess what, buddy? You're on speed. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, this is better than Adderall, meth. I was spun out of my head. I was like, I know exactly what this is. I would have taken this over that. Yeah, be careful, dude. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. No. You want to fight? I'll fuck you. I'll fuck you up. I'm like, why are you being aggressive? And I don't know. I just feel aggressive. I killed a cat yesterday. I'm like, what? With your car? He goes, no, with a knife. I'm like, no, that's not good.
With my bare hands.
Yeah, and then Wasco, this guy, he goes, yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I killed the neighbor's cat. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, fuck, that cat's annoying anyways. You guys, I want to go home. Yeah, he's like, I hate cats. I'm like, you have a pet cat. He goes, yeah, but I hate other people's cats. Did you really kill a cat? He goes, yeah. Well, where is it? Well, I threw it over in the neighbor's yard. I don't think I want to be friends with you guys anymore. Years later, I'm like, hey, you want to be in my wedding? And then a year after that, we never spoke again because he killed a cat.
Mama Fox said, I took Ritalin for a short time, and yeah, it's doctor prescribed speed if you're not ADHD.
Methylphenidate. It was created by Brazilian
Fauci?
doctor.
Oh.
Brazilian doctor.
I just figured Fauci would be the answer.
Created methylphenidate for his wife Rita, who had chronic low blood pressure. She liked to play tennis. That was her thing, but her blood pressure was so low that she'd never had the energy to do it.
Right.
So he concocted methylphenidate, hydrochloride, which he would give to her before she would go out to play tennis, and her heart rate would come up, and then she'd be able to play, and she'd have enough energy to do it. And they called it Ritalin. His wife's name was Rita. Her name was Rita Lynn. I'm not joking.
You know way too much about drugs, man.
I know way too much about everything. Everything. So...
Not sports.
What do you want to talk about?
You
want to talk about current players? No fucking clue. You want to talk about how it works? Sure, all day long.
Oh, you know what? Here's something that's not current but current at the same time. The Hall of Fame for 2022 was announced for Major League Baseball today. You know who David Ortiz is, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so he's the only person that got voted in, and it was the 10th year of eligibility on the ballot for Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa, and they didn't get in. They're out
because of the doping.
To me, it is an embarrassment for the sport that they didn't get in. And let me finish my comment first, because it kind of sounds like it's ass backwards. So what happened in 1998 after basically, well, let's go after the strike in 94, when Sosa and McGuire were going at it for the home run title. It saved baseball, and they all fucking knew they were roiding up.
Yeah.
And Barry Bonds, who was I still think he's the greatest player to ever play hands down. 5 tools, the guy, but he was the biggest dick on the planet, and that's because of his godfather, Willie Mays. Willie Mays told him never to trust the press because, it was a different time when Willie Mays played, obviously. But the greatest player, hands down, he was already at like 400 home runs, 400 stolen bases. He was an amazing player, but got zero attention. So the next year, he came to camp about 20 pounds heavier and just started fucking destroying the ball. So Major League Baseball created these freaking animals, and then they punished them by not allowing him in the Hall of Fame. I think is the biggest bunch of bullshit. It's hypocrisy at the highest level, But yeah, so Ortiz gets in, who, according to a Wall Street Journal, New York Times article, in 2003 was one of the ones that tested positive on that big test that they did. They did every player. They drug tested every player. And if it was a certain percentage, they would drug test from now on. Well, that blew through the door on the percentage. So that's why they started doing drug testing. But so he was in that report. So was Pudge Rodriguez, who is in the Hall of Fame. So was Mike Piazza, who is in the Hall of Fame. But Clemens and Bonds, who are probably the 2 best players at their position in the modern era, don't get into the Hall of Fame. It's a fucking travesty. I think it's horrible, and they should have put him in the last year. Like, all right, you made these guys sweat, that's fine, but they didn't, and I was very disappointed. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm not, they weren't. I mean, Clemens was a Yankee, but he'll always be a Red Sox to me. But and Bonds played for San Francisco and Pittsburgh. He didn't have anything, but they were the best players, and they should have went in. But anyway, so that's a little old school baseball, but new school because it's the Hall of Fame today.
Who's I'm forgetting the guy's name. Who's the guy who got popped gambling?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. That guy's...
He has a lifetime ban by Paul Giamatti's father.
Really?
Yes. Yes, Paul Giamatti's father was the commissioner of baseball.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
Bart Giamatti. Absolutely. That's Paul Giamatti's father. Insane. Like, I didn't. Huh?
Who was Tagliabue?
Football.
Football. Okay, fuck.
Yeah. No, but the what do you call it? The commissioner. The commish.
Lifetime ban because he got caught gambling on a sport that he played. Anybody against his own team?
So there's the hitch, right? So
did he handicap to win?
They say in the report that was publicly known that he did not bet on his team. However, the rumors in baseball have always been the reason why they banned him forever is because he either bet on his team while he was a manager, or he may have bet against his team as a manager. So that's the reason. That's the unwritten. He'll never get in while he's alive. He'll probably get in by the Veterans Committee after he passes. So one of the greatest baseball players ever, Charlie Hustle, and he'll never get in. It's sad, but and he doesn't help himself either. He's an asshole too. He shits all over everybody. So, but yeah, I definitely think Bonds and Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't even think it's a question.
Who are some of the in your opinion, some of the, like, say, the top 5 baseball players in the last 40 years?
40 years?
And we can go back 30. Let's say during our lifetime.
Well, I'll go hitters. Bonds is definitely number 1. I don't think there's a question. I think Griffey Jr. is probably up there in the last 40 years. Let's see who else. The kid in LA, right? I mean, in Anaheim right now, he keeps doing it. Trout, he'll be there. Like he'll finish. But if you don't get injured, I mean, injury is the biggest thing. Longevity is the biggest thing, right? Because I grew up, Don Mattingly is my favorite player, but he had disc problems. If he played now, they'd be able to fix that shit, no problem. But he couldn't. He didn't play long enough at a high enough level. Wow, that's a good question. Best players, Alex Rodriguez, who was eligible this year, and I don't know if he even got 30%, and you need 75% to get in, but he got suspended a whole year for PEDs. So I don't know. So that's 4, right? It's a really good question. Who would I think a hitter in the last 40 years? Because I'm a big believer in you. Not only for average, you got to hit power too. You have to be across the board. I mean, like Tony Gwynn was a great hitter, but he really didn't have any power. Boggs was a great hitter, didn't have any power. Puckett didn't play long enough, like Mattingly. Palmeiro was unbelievable. His numbers across the board are insane, but he also got busted. I mean, he had like 3,000 hits, like 2,000 RBIs, 500 home runs. Great player too. Yeah, those are the ones I would. That's what I would say. Who were your favorites growing up?
Mine. I was a Padre.
So Gwynn,
Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was solid for a fat guy too. Like God,
Mr. Padre, man. He was Mr. Padre.
Because of the Padres, it was like a lot of people who came and went.
Right.
They didn't retire there. Steve Garvey came through.
Dave Winfield. Yep.
Right. There. Who was their closing pitcher in the 80s?
Trevor.
Gossage.
Gossage, and then he was also a Yankee. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
you guys
Wally
had
Fingers. There was. You
guys had Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman, yeah.
Oh, dude, and he came out to Hell's Bells.
They had
fucking AC/DC. It was so awesome.
When Ray Kroc was still alive, he owned a McDonald's. Okay, when Ray Kroc was still alive, 1984, I think we went for his 80th birthday. I got a hat. Before Joan Kroc, his wife, became the heir to.
Is that the Michael Keaton guy? Is that the McDonald's guy you're talking about?
Yeah,
who Michael Keaton plays in
Ray Kroc.
Dude, great movie.
When Ray Kroc was alive, he pumped money into that franchise, which is why in the early 80s, Padres were on fire. Right. Which is why they had fantastic players. It's weird what happens when a franchise puts money into their institute. They somehow they do well. So unless you're Brad Pitt and Moneyball, and you just scientifically make it happen, otherwise you're paying for talent. And I was lucky enough to be a kid growing up in a place with a franchise sports teams that were also killing it. We also had Dan Fouts as our quarterback for the Chargers. Yeah, it was a great era. It was the era of excess. It was trickle down economics. There was money flowing everywhere. Go Ronald Reagan. Just say no to drugs. That's all you had to do. Just say no. Although drugs is what actually fueled the American economy. So yeah, I mean, mine were basically people who'd come through. I had a little girlfriend in elementary school. Her dad was a scout for the Padres, so I would not only have great tickets whenever we wanted to go. I believe we were behind home base, just left of home base. We had like 5 seats right there. Amazing. And then Padres would be at her house, hanging out with her dad.
Oh, really? That's
cool.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey. I'm like, hey, hey, my name's Steve. I'm like, number 6. Hey, I just, I'm only 8, so I didn't really come in my pants, but I got a chance to meet a lot of people because of that stuff too. So
That's cool.
it's stuck in my head just for that reason.
Oh, absolutely.
It became a disappointment after the 80s. The Chargers did make it to. So disappointing. When did they make the Super Bowl? 96? 95? 95? Maybe it's 95. It's before my grandmother died, I think. So 95, 96. My grandmother was a sports fan. She loved I love my Padres. I love my Padres. I love my Chargers. She watched every fucking game, and she was a fan, and we didn't go in person, and she was watching on TV. And
94.
What was that?
94.
94. So grandma passed in 97, I believe, and I was living with her, and I remember the Chargers made it to the Super Bowl, and grandma was so happy. And I'm like, Grandma, did you?
Oh, wait a minute. They never won the Super Bowl.
No, they didn't. They never made it. They got to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they made the Super Bowl against the 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
Yeah. I watched that game, not with my grandmother, because, even though I lived with her, I was like, you're old. You sit here by yourself and watch this. I'm going to go hang out with friends. And I remember sitting down to watch that game, and I was like, here we go. It's my home team. I know people talk shit, but they're here. And I was what's the word? Skeptical. I was a skeptic. I don't want to be a fair weather fan, but I know they generally suck. They've been breaking my heart since I was 7 years old, or maybe it was 84, I guess.
God, Stan Humphries was the quarterback.
Stan Humphries. Oh yeah. So I watching this game.
Was like, oh, go ahead. I want to tell you something about
the 49ers.
Oh, go ahead.
And it looks literally like a scrimmage with a high school team and an actual professional team.
83 million people watched that game.
They got raped. They looked like they didn't know what a football was, or that they were on a field, or that they should be moving.
It was Steve Young's greatest game. It's like the greatest game played by a quarterback ever.
It was.
It was insane.
I remember just watching it, and I was like, all right, it's prison rape, and then it's going to go on the whole.
Steve Young was named Super Bowl MVP, throwing a Super Bowl record 6 touchdowns, went 24 for 36 for 325 yards.
See, this is what I want to know, guys. Somebody, John, do it for me. Figure this out for me. Is it because how bad they sucked, like the Chargers sucked that bad, or is it because he did that great? Which?
So the Chargers, though, had a really good defense. Junior Seau. They had I remember them having a really good defense. Just so the story of Steve Young's success is the West Coast offense, right? So it's hitting somebody in stride on these quick ins and outs, and he had that offense was so good, it wasn't even funny. I mean, so many Hall of Famers on there, but San Diego had a good I want to say Harrison was a corner. Now I got to see the roster. So, because their roster, I think their defense was very good. It's just offense for the 49ers were just ridiculous. Yeah. The Chargers were regarded as a Cinderella team because they had a good season. They were 11-5. I mean, that's a good season. But yeah. they went up against a team that was 13-3 and just so good. The Hall of Famers on there. Deion Sanders was on the defense for the 49ers. Yeah, they had such a good team. So good. So it's a combination, right? They they didn't, like Mama Fox said, they should have never left the locker room. It was bad.
It was gross. It was like there was. I just remember not only feeling disappointed, but it was almost as if like Obama got reelected, and I was just like, really? And I just like, I give up. I'm done. Like, what's the point?
The line in the game was 18.5 points.
God.
And they lost by 23. That's insane. Yeah, but they had a Nielsen rating of 41.3. It said 83 million people watched the game.
Jeez.
That's insane.
That's a huge pool.
Well, so you figure what was the population, right?
Well, that's 20 years ago. It's, maybe 10 million, 10 of the U.S., I guess. What did I say?
Yeah, I mean, it would be U.S.
I don't know. What was it 20 years ago? Like, was it closer to 300 instead of 330?
I want to say for some reason like 250.
Population 1995. 266 million. That's fucking crazy.
Oh, see, when I say 250, that was a pretty good guess.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
So
now we're at 320.
Oh, and that's I think
because of the immigrants. Because of the Mexicans. I'm just kidding. We weren't counting them back then, or we are now. I'm not. Which one is it?
Depends what state you're talking.
I married one. That was good for a minute. Population, U.S. population. No, that's crazy. What's the growth rate? Half a percent per year. 2022, 334 million. 332, 331. So yeah, that's nuts. Good guess, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, I remember that as a kid, like that being the number, like around 250. I remember that as a kid, but God, 49-26 in Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, Florida.
Can you imagine if you were those of you who were alive in 1950 and there was 150 million people?
Right.
That's it. 150 million. That's more than double that.
That's insane.
There's 7 billion people in the world, and people talk about, well, overpopulation. Like, if you've ever gone anywhere on an airplane and looked out, you realize there's no overpopulation. That is not true. It is clearly not true.
I think in certain countries it is.
Certain countries you could be overpopulated because everyone is stacked on top of each other.
Correct.
Spread the fuck out.
Right.
Spread out. There's rural areas. I have to imagine in India that there are unpopulated areas that are livable. Am I wrong? So I know there's a ton in the United States, a ton, and we don't use it for agriculture. We don't use it for anything. They thought they thought we would not be able to sustain ourselves agriculturally, in 1950, and that we would run out of food. And that's also not true. Necessity is the mother of invention. Although there are predictive models that say that we'll cap out at 9 billion people in the world, and that would be pretty much where we cap out before we start to decline. And even then, we will not be overpopulated. Let's see.
So the roster. So I'm looking at the roster for the 95 Chargers. Okay. Humphreys was the quarterback. They had Natron Means as the running back. He was good at the time.
That guy. He was great.
They had Tony Martin and Sean Jefferson as wide receivers. I don't know. I mean, the line, it's not familiar to me. On the tight ends, they weren't familiar to me. But on defense, they had Leslie O'Neal, Junior Seau. I guess they didn't have that great of a defense. I remember them being better than that. So now I'm going to give you the San Francisco 49ers roster. It's the amount of Hall of Famers on it. For 1995 San Francisco 49ers. Here we go. Roster. Here we go. Insane. So Steve Young, quarterback. They had William Floyd as the fullback. The guy was badass. They had Ricky Wallace wasn't the starter, but he played, and Derek Lavelle was the running back. Jerry Rice, John Taylor as wide receivers. Brent Jones as the tight end. I mean, just sick. Defense, Stubblefield, Young, and Jackson on the front line. Insane. They had Ken Norton Jr., and in the defense, they had Eric Davis, Pope, McDonald, and Merton Hanks. Well, I guess Dion wasn't on this team. For some reason, I thought I saw Dion. But just insane. Oh my God, just insane. Yeah, who else do they have? I have the whole roster here now, so but just nuts. I think those were the starters. But Jesus. Yeah. So just Hall of Famers all over the place.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think about the term that's always used in sports to explain when a team gets their shit together and they start to fire
On
accurately, and they say we caught momentum? What is that? What does that mean? It happens all the time. We lost momentum. We got momentum.
So I always attribute to one of the things that I always loved about hockey was hockey fights. And people are like, oh, it's so barbaric. I'm like, no, it's not. You don't understand. It can change the barometer of the game. It absolutely can. Yeah. When even if your team doesn't win the fight, but a guy who had no business fighting a goon and holds his own can change the I guess adrenaline for the rest of the team.
Right.
It can change everything. So in sports, so football, especially one of these sports where you have the greatest athletes in the world lining up against each other. And through all the practices, you're on the same page, meaning timing. Finally, everybody's healthy. So that's huge. Confidence. Your quarterback he's like, you know what? That fucking guy, when I throw to him, drops the ball every single time. That guy never drops it. Well, all of a sudden he gets to a point where I can throw to any of these fucking guys. They're not going to drop it. Those are all things that get everybody on the same page, all the cylinders firing at once. It's half mental, half physical. The fact that there are I think it's 2 weeks between the Super Bowl and the NFC and AFC championship games gets everybody as healthy as they pretty much can get at that point to possibly put the best game on. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Non-physical sports, I mean, like baseball. Baseball's a one-on-one sport. It's a pitcher versus a hitter. It has been that way. Now, could better fielding help you? Sure. Positioning? Sure. But if that guy's going to hit that ball or not hit that ball is where it begins and ends, really. Right. Basketball, it's not as physical as football, but I think on physical sports like hockey and football, there's something to be said for that. So, but yeah, no, I think there's something to it. So basically sports have been taken over by numbers more than it ever has. And I can't remember what the term is that I can't remember right now, but it drives everybody crazy. But there is the flow of the game. And though this guy normally doesn't hit this guy, well, this guy got laid last night. This guy feels this way. This guy got extra rest. That's the feel of the game. Yeah, I mean, it changes, it's daytime, it's nighttime, it's humid out. The ball's traveling today. The wind's coming from left to right to left. Cybermetrics is a big deal in all of sports now. To the fact that some teams go for the 2-point conversion more than you would think they should, because the odds are you're going to get it more than 50% of the time. Well, if you're going to get it more than 50% of the time and your kicker is going to miss the extra point a certain amount of times, well, then the odds are you're going to score more points. Now, does it always happen? No. but that's how games are now kind of played by, and it kind of makes it a little boring because you know what everybody's going to do. It's the managers that kind of throw a monkey wrench into it and go, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go with this guy. But they also get held accountable for shit like that. So, but no, there's definitely something. There's something behind that. When you have, you have a team that parties the night before and then goes plays, and nobody's playing up to their best ability. Human factor is still a situation in sports. Of course it is. The old don't get laid, don't fuck before a game and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things you're not supposed to do or to do before a game, eat a lot of pasta or whatever, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's, close to 100 years worth of information there. So
sorry.
It's okay. You got choked up. I understand. I like how you're talking sports. I'm very impressed right now.
San Diego Gulls. San Diego Gulls hockey.
Okay, so it's a minor league team.
Minor league,
okay.
Right? AAA. There was no major league team, so I don't know where they were attached to San Diego. I don't know where they were going to go from there, but they had some of the best Russian goalies or forwards in the 1990s.
Okay.
And I'm just making this as a statement. They could generate more excitement at the San Diego Sports Arena than almost any other team sport or concert that I've ever seen. I have a jersey that my girlfriend, who became my wife, then my ex, bought for me with $50 that she saved up.
They still exist too.
They came back. They went away and they came back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're part of the AHL. Yeah, AAA.
It was unbelievable. I was lucky enough that I worked for a radio station at the time. I was in radio, and much like this. And if I wasn't broadcasting from the studio, then I would have the corporate box passes.
Dude, Ray Whitney played for them. Oh wow! I'm looking at 92-93 roster.
Yeah.
Keith Gretzky. Oh, Sean Burke. All right, so you're talking about goalies. Oh well, he wasn't Russian. He's American, but
I forget who the Russian guys were. There was a couple that they came out and people. Oh, we just it would have been like 97.
97. Okay.
97, 98, probably. It was just phenomenal. I remember when I was a little kid, we had the San Diego Sockers. Before they have the Galaxy later on. The San Diego Sockers were a thing, but they paled in comparison. They were exciting, but they paled in comparison to what a solid AAA team could do.
1990. I got 98, 99. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's probably
97.
Right.
Oh, I got 97, 98.
Probably, yeah. Lisa and I started dating 97, so probably 98, 99.
Sergey.
Right. Yes.
Nomov was the goalie.
Sergey. He was a brute. Usually, I don't know. Is it normal for goalies to go out and just start trading punches?
Not normal.
Not normal.
But there have been a couple out there. So.
He would go out there and go toe to toe with a goon and fuck them up. And one time I saw him. One time I think he got hurt and had to leave. We were like, uh-oh. Because he was a fantastic goalie. And he was a fantastic striker. And somebody else would come back. They would call him in to watch him charge into the middle of the fucking the rink from goalie, and somebody would block goal while he came up and beat the. He would take over for somebody and beat him.
Dude.
Yeah.
In 96, 97, he went 38-8. 38 wins, 8 losses. Had 21 penalty minutes for a goalie. That is insane. The next year, He went 39-7. Oh my God.
That's toe to toe pounding, right? Fights.
No, that's wins. No, I'm talking about wins.
Oh,
no.
yeah, just wins on. Oh, okay.
Oh no, I mean he was that good of a goalie.
Yeah, he was amazing. The fact that they would risk him to go kick somebody's ass was even better because you're like he made the team. He was so fucking good. He was so good. He was phenomenal. We were like playing like the Russian national anthem and shit.
Played for the Long Beach Ice Dogs as well.
Yeah, that guy was a monster.
So back then they weren't AHL; they were WCHL. What the fuck did that
I think there was like two competing leagues.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane. It doesn't look like he ever went to the freaking pros.
I don't think he did. I looked up.
How the fuck do you not go? Oh, he had a goals against of 3, so you guys could score. You definitely could score. Okay, that's just insane, though. Oh my God, that's insane. Huh? Very cool.
It was fun stuff. That's why it was so hard. And so I understand like where you're coming from is when I came here, I was like, oh, there's no sports. And they're like, go Wildcats. I'm like, what? Who cares? Like, what the fuck? It's college. Like where I come from, college sports don't matter. They don't. No one goes because you have all the options.
Correct.
You go to you want to go NFL. You want to go. We didn't have basketball in San Diego. But otherwise, franchise sports, they're there, man. Except now, the Bolts Chargers went to L.A. and are back to L.A. Didn't they originally come from? Where were the Chargers originally? They were.
I don't know.
They were like Midwest, I think. So I'm going to go over this this study that was done about drinking. A guy that I worked with years ago. Actually, we worked with at McDonald's. His name was Chuck. He was an older gentleman, probably 20 years older than us. Chuck was a drinker. Chuck brought me this article. He brought me 2 articles. One about...
Wait a minute. Chuckles the smoke? Chuckles?
Yeah.
And he passed, right?
I didn't know.
Yeah, he passed a couple of years ago. Yeah. Sorry.
Chuckles was he's a drinker and a smoker, and he was not apologetic at all.
For nothing.
You give a fuck. He's like, yeah, so I was drinking a case of beer, and as he's blowing his little cigarillos in your face, like I'm smoking right here. He comes up and he goes, hey, I got an article I want you to read. And I said, oh, okay. He goes, well, it's 2. So first read this one, and then read this one. And I'm just trying to get water out of the galley. But he's like, He's like, he was an in-your-face talker.
Yes, he was.
Very close.
Talker.
He was a little guy. He wasn't very tall.
No.
But, you just reach up a little bit. You can't blow his breath in your face. And he goes, yeah, check it out. I'm like, check it. So I read this, a summary of this. So it says, it starts off. The one that he showed me had a chart, had a graph that showed longevity by alcohol consumption. So the results were surprising, and also surprising why they would have suppressed them and try and spin it. So, synopsis, 1,824 adults aged 55 to 65 found that moderate and heavy drinkers, and the heavy drinker, moderate is 2 a day, heavy is 6+ a day, okay? Moderate and heavy drinkers were less likely to die than abstainers over a 20-year plan or 20-year span. So when Chuck and I talked about this, he's like, check it out. I have a theory. I said, wait, let me read the rest. Chuck. He goes, those goddamn teetotalers. That's what he said. Those goddamn teetotalers, you can't trust them. You can't trust someone who's never. Yeah, I know, I get it. You can't trust them. They never sip the devil's nectar or whatever the fuck you call it. And he's like, then he laughs really loud. According to research at University of Texas in Austin and Stanford University in Palo Alto, California, moderate drinkers were defined as those who have one to fewer than 3 drinks daily. So remember, everyone lies, and especially when it comes to medicine. I know this. So double that. Okay, so let's say 1 to less than 3. That means 2 to 6 drinks a day. That's realistic.
Okay.
Nobody pours a 1 ounce drink of shit. You don't pour a 1 ounce and then add your stuff. No one does. They don't drink 8. You drink a tumbler of wine. Don't lie to me. But anyways, with heavy drinkers having 3 or more alcoholic beverages a day, 3 or more, and the graph showed 6 plus. According to the study in the journal Alcoholism, Clinical and Experimental Research, the results disputed a common criticism of previous similar findings about drinking and longevity. That results were skewed because researchers included former problem drinkers with poor health in the abstainers group. Interesting. The Texas and Stanford authors found that even after excluding results from past problem drinkers and people with poor health status, such as obesity, moderate drinkers still live longer than non-drinkers. Importantly, any health protective effects of alcohol appear to be limited to regular moderate drinking, wrote this study authors led by Charles Holohan, a psychology professor at University of Texas. Heavy episodic drinking, even when average consumption remains moderate, is associated with increased risk. So, if you're a 2 to 3 or 3 to 6, whatever their scale is, and you binge and you get plastered, there's still increased cardiovascular risk. He has to state that. We know this. And you get super shit faced, you can have a heart attack more easier than if not, apparently. But not according to Chuck. Alcohol thins the blood. And alcohol makes assholes less assholes. People who don't drink have thick blood in their assholes and they don't have friends. That's why they die. He told me this. He showed me the coffee article. Coffee also proven to, and he showed the chart. He goes, at 2 cups a day, the abstainers, they died sooner. The moderate people, they live longer. He goes, then you have of the people in the middle of the pack, they were about the same. And then you have the extreme, and this is what both the studies showed. On the extreme end, they outlived everybody. He goes, 6 cups of coffee a day, 6 drinks or more a day, and you're going to live for fucking ever. He goes, here's why. Nobody wants a crabby, hungover piece of shit asshole in the morning, so drink a pot of coffee. You'll be fine. It'll help clear it. It opens it up, thins your blood. Your heart's pumping fine. You're not going to have a heart attack when you're 50. At night, he's like, get after work, drink a fifth, drink a case of beer, do what you got to do. But look, you have friends, right? He goes, 1 to 2 drinks a day. You're doing that at home. You're boring, right? Because you got the people kind of somewhere in the middle, negligible effect. Then you have the heavy drinkers, Jeff. The heavy drinkers, they have friends. They're at the bar. They're not lonely. They're not sad. They're like, and he goes, there are studies that literally show that. There's people who have the social network and they have groups of people. They support each other and they have a reason to keep going.
Right.
And he's like, the answer's here. He goes, I had no idea I'm going to fucking live forever. I was like, Chuck, that's a goddamn plan. What do they say about smoking? He goes, these will fucking kill you. Rest in peace, Chuck. Rest in peace.
I always liked him a lot. And, I never smoked, but I used to hang out in the smoking section because that's where all the friends were. So that was everybody was BSing and, talking about whatever.
I took up smoking at work. I started smoking a pipe because I had stopped smoking cigarettes.
It was the place to go.
Because, I was like, everyone else gets breaks, like 4 breaks a day. I get no breaks. I was in management. I got no breaks. But if I smoked, I got breaks. I can hang out with this regular agents and smoke. Like, fuck yeah.
That's where the fun is.
And Martha would come out. She's like, are you smoking a pipe? I'm like, yeah. Cool. Right on.
Well, it's about that time, sir. It is 1 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me.
So, I had my cup of coffee, and then I did my daily fiber. That's what hold on. I did my daily.
Bring it back.
There
Get
you
your fiber. Keep your poop regular.
go. It's supposed to help with blood sugar
Mm-hmm.
and something else. I think blood pressure, right?
Blood sugar and triglycerides.
Cholesterol and blood sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it promotes digestive health. It's gluten free, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
gluten-free.
because it's just cellulose. It's not made from wheat. Yeah. Fiber is important. There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that people don't think about when it comes to alternative health, and we'll get out of here. A lot of people don't know that there are certain foods that they eat that don't do well for them.
Correct.
And one of the, I know I don't look like a picture of health. I get it. But the difference of me coming out of super stressful marriage, when everything was off, all my hormones were off. I could have weighed the same as now. I looked like I was 3 times bigger. Okay,
Right.
no neck, just everything's swollen. Inflammation problems huge. I have autoimmune diseases, which I didn't know that I necessarily had, aside from celiac. All these things are like indicative of your body is not doing well with you, for you. Right. And you can have modern medicine will tell you that here are the rules, but you have to remember that the rules that come with modern medicine they're a couple-fold. They're influenced obviously by pharmaceutical companies to prescribe their meds. They're not there to do holistic anything, right? They're not preventative at all. And they're gonna treat the outcome. They're not gonna treat the symptom. They're not gonna treat the cause, rather, right? Two things that will make a huge difference in anybody's life if you don't feel like you're functioning at your best, or even at a place where you felt like you were a couple years back. Number one is dealing with stress. I know we all hear it forever and ever, and it sounds like it's bullshit. And I didn't realize until I went through it that it's so true. Is stress kills. Your hypertension. You get labs done, and my labs the year that we split, and any time before that, because my friend and doctor, same person, he's like, literally, you gained 20 years back on your life based on what your labs were when you were in that situation. Your stress level was so incredibly high that your body was just digesting itself. It was just falling apart. Nothing worked well together. He goes, you don't even realize that it's happening. And he goes, I couldn't figure out why you were so fat. You were so fat. He goes, I thought you were lying to me all the time. I'm like, what do you eat? What do you do? What is your regimen? He goes, just based on diet, not even exercise, based on diet, you should be able to regulate that to a certain degree. If you eat the right things. And he's like, I didn't believe you. And I didn't. He goes, your labs are always fucked. Your high sensitivity CRP, which shows your propensity to have a heart attack at any moment, was 9 times what it should have been for any person who had the worst heart problems. He goes, I would just have to stop looking at your results because it was like, you should be dead. He goes, do you have a brain hemorrhage? He goes, this result shows that you have a fucking hemorrhage in your body somewhere. Did you hit your leg? He would check me out like, I don't know why all your labs are so fucked. And then I lived with him for a year and I deflated. At first I didn't deflate. It took a while, but he watched me for like 3 months and he goes, dude, I see what you eat, like lean protein and vegetables, and you get on the goddamn exercise bike at 4 a.m. It was really annoying. And he goes, even when we were drinking tequila and doing cocaine, you're still exercising before you go to work. He's like, I've never seen anybody work so hard to be so fat. He goes, your hormone levels are fucked, I guarantee you. So we went and did hormones, and we found out, sure enough, testosterone was fucked. My thyroid was fucked. Like, everything was fucked. He's like, you have kind of this lifetime of shit. We have to kind of readjust it. And yeah, you have to figure out how to not be so stressed. He goes, it's over, dude. You're as fucked as you're going to be for the rest of your life. It's over. You're fucked. Just start embracing the fact that that's as fucked as you will be, and then move forward and find your happiness.
Right.
And, yeah, he goes, you're working really hard in a direction that makes no difference. He goes, why? And then he looks at my meds. He goes, why have you been taking this blood pressure med if your blood pressure is still high? I said, because you told me to. That was 10 years ago. Why are you still taking it? I said, because you keep refilling it. Because my office does. Fuck them. He goes, don't ever take another medicine again if it doesn't change your problem. He goes, medicine is there to help you feel better in the interim while you can solve things in the long term.
Right.
And you should never take a medicine that has an effect that is anywhere near what it's supposed to cure. There are alternatives. If this one doesn't work, there's another one. There's another one. He goes, do not tolerate side effects. Ever. There's no fucking reason to. We'll find something that works for your body chemistry. And then we'll get you off of it, which is the goal, not to keep you on it for the rest of your life. I was like, damn. So he's like, the recipe is when you get so twisted up sideways. He's like, if you're controlling your diet, and he goes, to control your diet means that if you can eliminate every food group from your diet to nothing and then build it back up slowly over 3 to 5 days, find out what fucks you up, because there's something in there that your body doesn't react well to. If every time you go to the bathroom it's explosive diarrhea, that's not normal. Right. That should not happen. Go to Taco Bell, might happen. You're just eating out of this should not happen. If you have diarrhea your whole life, something's broken. Stop, figure out what that thing is, and eliminate it. And I had to convince him to do the testing for celiac when I had to get knocked out twice in 7 days for them to do labs and endoscopies up both ends and examine shit under microscopes. Now it's just a blood test. It's nothing, but working together with this guy, we had to figure out, like, there's broken parts. We don't know what they are. And he's like, just like figure out and then stop. Your normal functions of breathing and sleeping and eating should not cause illness behavior.
Right.
If you're always blowing up your toilet at work, something's broken.
Right. Your body shouldn't be rejecting normal life.
Correct. Sickness outcomes are not normal in a healthy body. So then find out what that thing is and get it out of there. And then when that normalizes, you can start to deal with the other things. Now you can start to deal with what are your stress issues. And then once you narrow it down to what can you physically control, now let's look at medicine. Now let's look at adding things to in order to help solve in the short term. He's like, but taking a pill won't solve your problems. It will mask the fact that you're fucked.
Right.
Find the root cause, and it's usually garbage in, garbage out, and it's usually with energy, stress, relationships, and people. Also, garbage in, garbage out. And this is an MD who does not believe in any holistic shit. He's just like, eliminate the garbage, and then we'll take the next step. So that's what I have to offer. There are a lot of outcomes. There are a lot of solutions. There are a lot of things you guys can do. But deal with the basic stuff. Garbage in, garbage out with relationships and the fucking stuff you eat. Then from there, you'd be surprised what you can actually accomplish. So.
On that note, I'm going to bed.
Yes, sir. Me too. I got to go do garbage out and work tomorrow.
All right. I will.
Hey, we didn't do politics, and I had a bunch of goofy shit lined up for politics. So
well, it's Thursday
kind of
night.
fun. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, Thursday night for politics.
There you go.
There you go. Or
we talk about pornography for 3 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Top 5 favorite genres of porn. Go. What are you doing, step bro?
I was gonna say incest. Put your
incest is best. Put your sister to the test.
That's it. If you can't keep it in your pants, keep it in the family.
Amen and hallelujah. Pass the butter.
All right. Good night. I'll talk to you later.
Good night,
buddy.
Bye. Oh Lord. Hello. My name is Jeffrey Sinatra. So I refuse to answer So how long has this radio station been in my house? This is weird. It's kind of different topics tonight. I feel like I should be wearing like less leather and less trucker. I feel like I should be like more like yoga pants and nipple clamps. I don't know. Hey, if there's any topic that you want us to BS about, let me know. Is my face shiny? Nice beard, huh? Dadbod Bikerbeard. All right, well, I guess it's time to dip out, and I'll have to move this green screen behind me. I know you guys can't see it, but there's a green screen. You want to see it? I'll show you. Choose virtual background. Let me unchoose. Why? What's going on? Green screen. Yeah. I have little people holding it up, so that's pretty cool. Well, I guess that's the show, kids. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. If you're video on demand, thanks for coming back. I tell you to buy something. I have a bunch of affiliate marketing and a bunch of, who cares? Whatever. Do this. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. That'd be great. If you don't want to spend, what is it, $5 a month? I get that's a lot of money. It's not. You're being cheap. But if you have Amazon Prime because you get garbage delivered to you so you feel like people love you and it's not actually just not you buying yourself crap that you don't need, then go ahead and go to Prime Gaming, which is free if you have Prime shipping. Link your Twitch account and then go ahead and follow. You have to do it every 30 days or at least once a month. It doesn't stick forever, but that helps the show. And, you know, we could use a little bit of scratch to cover the Zoom costs and the Restream studio costs and the lawsuits and the, the hush money and, John's addiction to whatever he's on at the time. It can be helpful. So do it. Just make us feel special. John and I, John said, hey, you ever think about starting a GB Sinatra podcast and stream network? And I said, yeah. And he said, I have ideas. I have people who want to do shows. So I'm just one man. I can't entertain all one of you all the time. Tens of viewers. If you have an idea for a podcast you want to do or a stream, let me know. If you have my personal email, hit me up. Jeffrey Sinatra. Go to Facebook. Drop me a whisper, do whatever you want to do. If you have an idea of what you want, one you would like to do, bring it on. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, I'll teach you. It's not expensive and it's not complicated unless you want to make it that way. And I went that way, so I know how to make it easy. So if you're interested, if you want to do a show with me, drop a line. Let me know. What's the topic? We'll do it. I'll change my outfit in the background and then, we'll flip the script and we'll make it happen. So. It's easy, man. It's fun. It's cathartic. So, that's it. Drop a line. All right. Missy, what is that thing I always say? How do I remember? Oh, yeah. Love one another and love yourself. Good night. Time to go. And now, the end is near. Oh, look at my hole. And so I face